Apologies, 20 minutes late. Okay, well that's my fault. I can only say to you that is my fault. Welcome. I need to do a new tweet. We are actually live now. Family issues. Here we go. Let's get her in. Here she comes. Here comes my queen. Thank you. That should have been hello, Catherine Boyle.
Hello.
Just say hello again so I can see if they can hear you.
Hello.
Oh, they can hear you, and they got a lovely echo on you. Now they're gonna. No, there we go. Now we can see you. I need to get rid of what I call on here Ask Cam. I think that's that gone. I need to screen two. I really apologise, everyone. Actually, I don't apologise. Well, I do apologise because I'm well mannered, but things outside of my technical remit. Hang on a minute, guys. Hang on a minute. Transform, fit to screen. There we go. We're in. You spelt "your" wrong, Charlie. That's a timeout for you. Look, who's that in the background, Catherine? Yelko. Izzy? Izzy, we need you in a minute. Don't come in just yet, but Izzy, you better be ready. So really sorry, everybody. I was looking after the kids and their mum picked them up. I misjudged the time. I said, you've got to be back by 6. But just after 6, and the traffic was terrible. And then, Catherine, I saw a petrol station without any queue, and the green pumps, the unleaded pumps, the 2- and 4-star pumps were not locked. All of the diesel was locked, but the green was not locked. And I thought, I've only used a quarter of a tank, but I don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to fill up. So I'm late because of kids and traffic and petrol. Catherine is not here. Why are you not here, Catherine? What go on? You're diesel lady. Diesel. Yeah. Oh, Catherine is muted, right? But you should be able to... Oh, because we're on a different shot. Just say hello, Catherine.
Hello, Catherine.
There we go. She's back. So, Catherine, just tell us why you're not here, please, Catherine Boyle.
Because I'm a diesel person, and I've got about 80 miles worth, and heaven knows how long this may last. Although, I'm thinking after the stream, I might have a little drive down to the 24-hour.
I was worried. It may not be as bad as I thought. I remember the great petrol drought of, it was like 2000, 2001.
Yeah, I remember that.
Charlie says, this is stupid. Everyone is panic buying. I don't think it is panic buying. People are entitled to be concerned that they won't have petrol to get to work, to take the kids to school, to go to college, to whatever. People are entitled to be concerned. And we know there's a problem with fuel. We know there's a problem with fuel because all the gas prices are going up. We know there's a problem with drivers because of Brexit. And the Prime Minister has said, don't panic. So, of course, we're going to panic buy when he says that. And the front page of The Sun is, we are out of petrol. So I really get angry with this blaming us.
But also, not everyone is lucky enough to be able to work from home, okay? So I'm trying to avoid getting in the queues, even though I could do with filling up, because I don't want to add to the visual spectacle that means that people go, shite, I should fill up as well. So, you know, not everyone gets to make that choice. Some people have got to go to work.
Don't blame us. Blame the government and blame I did say, you're actually right, Paul. Paul has called me out. The other day I said I didn't think it was anything to do with Brexit. There is a worldwide gas shortage. But the problem is significantly worse here because we haven't got the drivers because of Brexit. So, yes, you're right. Thank you for calling me out on that because I did say that the other day. You cannot. Well, you can blame me and Catherine and people filling up, but
I haven't filled up, so blame him.
So blame me. But it's not. No, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong to blame us. It really is wrong to blame us. It is the government and it is the press.
Oh God, yeah. Those front pages this morning. What are people what did they think was going to happen?
Yep.
What did they think was going to happen? Also, while we're all pointing the finger at each other, the people who should have sorted it out are getting away with it. So let's not be distracted by that little thing.
Why the hell was Julia Hartley-Brewer tweeting, well, this is going well today? Why? What, she knows. Wait, you actually panic buy? Oh, no, I don't panic buy, Charlie. I buy petrol. Because I had to drive about an hour away to see my kids. And then I had to drive an hour back. And I have to go to college on Thursday, which is 2 hours away. And I'm hoping to get my kids next week, which again is those drives. And I'm hoping to take them out somewhere. And I am nervous that there won't be any petrol. Charlie, I don't know how old you are, but I was saying I remember the petrol shortage of 20 years ago, and it was really shit. It was really shit. It went on for, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and it was shit. And the military got involved, and you had to have a permit to buy petrol. You had to be a doc. You got petrol because you were a journalist, Catherine.
Yeah, I had a pass.
You had a petrol pass. So, no, I don't panic buy. I buy petrol. And I'm concerned that I won't be able to get to college, and that will count as a black mark against me. That will count as an absence, because they won't. You know, I live 2 hours away from it. That'll count as an absence. And I'm worried that I won't be able to see my kids. I already can't go. My kids are going to Liquid Leisure tomorrow, Catherine, and for someone's party. And they've asked for parents to get involved. And I was like, oh, I'll do that. Oh, hang on. We might not have any petrol. So, no, I don't panic buy. I buy. I don't think in terms of petrol, there is such a thing as panic buying. I think people are buying. And it really gets me angry that they're turning it on us. No, be angry with Farage, be angry with Hartley-Brewer, be angry with Johnson and Gove and May and Cameron and Corbyn and all of those people that allowed, who at the very least allowed, but the others who actively encouraged and sought Brexit. This is Brexit. This is Brexit. I was in Tesco today, and the number of shelves empty are growing. And it started off, it was funny, because it was like, all right, it's bottles of Coke and like weird stuff. Now it's getting more and more stuff that you might actually consider using on a daily basis. So empty shelves and petrol shortages. Thanks, Boris Johnson. Thanks for that.
At least we got control of this.
Blue passports, except they're not quite blue. It's hard, says Pete, not to be a bit angry of the people who didn't learn anything from the pointless panic buying last year, though. Well, that's your thing. I think this is different. I really think this is different. You know, if you are told by the Prime Minister, who is an idiot, do not panic buy, you're going to go out and buy. I hate the term panic buy. I hate the term panic buy. Listen, if people, and I'll tell you why it's different from toilet rolls. Because you would go in Tesco and you would see people with trolleys filled with toilet rolls, right? And buying loads, and they had to put a limit on what you could buy. That is panic buying. Filling your car up, that's not panic. You know, unless you're going there and you've got 20 little jerry cans with you that you're doing as well, that is not panic buying. If you are dependent on your car for whatever reason, and the threat that you may not be able to get petrol, that is not panic buying. That is buying. Twisty's in the house. Evening, Twisty. That is buying. You know, I filled up on the way back. I didn't need to. I was a quarter down. I didn't need to. Is that panic buying? Would you consider that panic buying? I consider that buying. You know, I'm really pissed off with it being turned on us. No.
But that's been the playbook from quite a while now, isn't it? We're all fighting over Brexit. We're all fighting over that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, what was going on? What was going on above?
What was going on above? It's their fault. It's their fault. It's not our fault that we want to be able to get to work and we want to be able to go to college and see our families. That's not our fault. It's their fault.
Yeah.
You know,
Lance is right, though, in the chat saying hard to stay cheerful at the moment. It really is. It seems like it's just one thing after another. It's kind of relentless.
Charlie says, yes, but people are buying petrol from stations that are not at a shortage. Tesco and Asda are not at a shortage. SO and BP are at a shortage. If this continues, they will be.
But that's not true. But that's not true. I went to a different station today. None of the ones that you've named. No diesel.
Yeah.
So then, of course, people are going to the other petrol stations, the ones that they hear might have. Of course,
they will go. This is it. You hear there is petrol. Do you, Charlie? How old are you? How old are you? Were you a functioning adult during the last petrol crisis? Because we were, and it was shit. It was shit. The country didn't quite get to a standstill, but it got bloody close to it. The army were driving petrol tankers, and you had to show your papers to get petrol. You had to be a doctor, a nurse, a journalist, God knows how you wangled that one, a copper.
Because we need to keep the people informed, you see.
Yeah, except you weren't. You weren't. I blocked someone today who was a follower of me who said, yeah, any idiot that actually believes the media deserves to be out panic buying. Block.
All right. Okay. Where do they get their news from then? YouTube?
Always new depths. I worked in a petrol station in the last crisis. Crazy days of queues and limiting how much people could have.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was shit. And I mean, you can if you want, but I think driving is different to wiping your ass, and filling up is when there is a potential that you may not be able to get to work on Tuesday or go to college on Thursday. That's why I filled up.
Yeah.
Filling up is different from filling a trolley with 25 packs of bog roll.
When you could just have a flannel. There is no alternative for fuel.
Shower, isn't it? Shower up there.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, I'm kind of hoping the fact that I did get some petrol today means it hopefully it will not be as bad as I was perhaps predicting. And it will be all right. How you doing, Boyley? Nice to see you.
I am all right. I have got.
I can smell you. You smell wonderful. You've made an effort.
I have actually. I had a shower and everything. I thought that you'd be able to tell somehow, and you certainly can. Yeah, we're all right. It's all very chilled here. I am child-free this weekend, except I'm not, because it is Littleton's 10th birthday tomorrow. So it's all back here for Mum's movie night, and she's invited some friends around. So I've got that to think about tomorrow, and I'm going to walk to the supermarket, because if it was anything like it was this afternoon, the whole of the centre of town was snarled up because of the unique way they've built the parking for that particular supermarket. Means that it's right next to the main roundabout in town. So if you start queuing out of the entrance to the supermarket, as people were for petrol, the whole centre of town gets snarled up. So I'll be walking to the supermarket in the morning to try and get a birthday cake. Dave
says, I tried filling a trolley with petrol. It went everywhere. That's panic buying. That is panic buying. This is her. I've got her present here. You've got a package from a listener, from a viewer. Would you like to save it, or do you want to open it now? It's a big one.
A big one, you say?
Stay there. It's a big one. Where did I put it? Here it is.
Oh, this is exciting. I mean, what am I going to say?
The book depository, unless someone has repurposed this. We'll do the cat and the Amazon thing in a minute, because that was flipping. You may have missed that. That was flipping brilliant.
Oh yes, I've kept the card because I'm going to frame it. Basically, the Amazon person left me a card to say that they left the parcel on a chair because the cat was sitting in front of the shed and they didn't want to bother it.
Now,
in other words, they were scared of my cat.
We do not know who this is from, so if this is from you, make yourself known.
Oh.
Wow.
What is this?
That's a book.
What book is it?
70s Style and Design.
Oh, I love. Who got me that?
Look at that cat. That's velvet.
Oh, look.
Look at that, man.
Nice. Thank you to whoever got me.
Who was this? Who got this? I don't think there's a name. Let me just...
How funny.
Double and triple check. No name. No name, no patch. Wow, we got a cheque for £75. Whoa, dude.
What?
Oh, there's a cheque for £75. Look.
But I have to get naked for it. Okay.
Yes, man.
Some of my prices have gone up.
Have you got the Amazon note to hand?
I can get it.
Because this is
One moment,
art.
please.
You have to frame it. That is a top tier coffee book. It really is. Hey Vix, Vix is here. I was chatting to Vix 2 days ago. Was it on St. John's stream? Maybe it was yesterday. I can't remember. I watched quite a bit of Twitch yesterday. I watched the computer game show Guys. I watched a little bit of Sketty. Were you tomorrow? Were you yesterday, Sketty? I watched a little bit of Dave. It was a couple of nights ago, was St. John. Okay. We're going to watch some Paddington Green in a little bit. Can we get a shout out? Do we get a shout out for Vix's channel? Let's get a shout out for everybody in this room that's got their own channel. Let's get a shout out. Read the show this. This is great, man. This is beautiful. This is an actual Amazon delivery note. Ginger Ninja, lovely to see you. We'll put what we're doing in a minute. We are going to watch some Paddington Green, but we will put the link for the Zoom in if you want to come and join us in the Zoom, because obviously there's certain limitations as to what Catherine is able to hear from here. Oh, and Catherine, you've got that light going again.
I know, look at it.
Thank you, Bitter Toad. Go on. So let's have this note from the Amazon dude. It's wonderful.
Sorry we missed you. Where is your parcel now? Left on a chair as cat is guarding shed. Guarding, mind. Guarding shed. So didn't want to bother it. I mean, she has got that face. She has got one of those faces that say, I wouldn't. So they didn't. But I thought that was lovely. That actually made me laugh a lot yesterday.
That is delightful.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It wasn't this cat. These cats are going to be massive though one day. So I will have a whole a horde of scary cats. Except these are soft.
I got some new drugs.
Oh.
You can see it's called Elvance. Elvance.
Called what?
This is Elvance.
Elvance.
Elvance. Elvance. David Turner's is here. Elvance. It's called Elvance. It's an ADHD drug.
Uh-huh.
And it's a private prescription. A doctor. Hey, my sister's here. Hello, Joe. Thank you for our present.
Hey, Joe.
A doctor, an NHS doctor, will not prescribe you ADHD drugs. But there are some loopholes, and there is the phrase "a postcode lottery" is the thing. So if you go privately, and you follow a certain order of drugs. We tried this one, Zagatin, then we tried this one, Elvans, and then dum 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 dum. If you can show that, and you have a good county, and you have a willing doctor, then you might get it on the NHS. So this is private, and I've had private prescriptions before, 16 quid. So I was very surprised when the lady said, "That's £88." £88 for a drug that may not do anything. I have taken one.
And?
I don't like it, Mummy. I don't like it. I'm sweating like a pig. I don't like it, Mummy. I don't like it. So I took it about 3 when I was off to get my kids. I thought, okay, well, let's see where this goes. And it has... Gatford says, my advice, move to Kent. They dole out ADHD meds like sweets. I think my doctor might be all right, because some doctors, you say, I'd like to get referred for ADHD diagnosis. No. And my doctor was great. She went, okay, well, we'll start the process. But I went private in the end. So I took it at 3. I took it at 2. Got to Windsor at 3. Didn't have to pick up the boys for an hour. So I sat and read. Mm-hmm. I had a coffee and a sandwich and I read, except I'm reading and I'm also going on Twitter and I'm also checking I'm like super ADHD guy, right?
Oh.
And
that's not the idea, right?
No.
It's not supposed to boost it.
And the whole afternoon, here by Fanny's feet. Yeah, I don't think my kids are watching, so I can speak freely. If you've ever taken ecstasy, right, you take it, and 25, 35 minutes into it, you get this bubbling here. You think, oh, ho, ho, here we go. And then what that does in that drug is it kind of fills your whole body with warmth and love, and your eyes go a bit like that, and you're like, yes, man. But it starts off with that excitement there. And all day I've had that excitement there. I've had that excitement. And I'm sweating, and my eyes are a little bit, and I mean, I'm fizzing with ideas. I was texting you ideas for the bands that we are starting. Fizzing with ideas. but it doesn't have the focus. David Turner's, oh no, we gave you the super ADHD pills. They're meant for Dr. Farley. It is not giving me the focus that I want. In fact, it's giving me the focus, but on 50,000 different things at the same time.
Ooh.
I feel powerful. I feel superhuman. I got home and my youngest said, I want to sell the old Xbox because we don't use it. I said, okay. They haven't used the Xbox One for ages. And so we had to update it. And the update has crashed it, right? It just now you turn it on and you get a blank screen. And so I was there trying to fix that, but also doing something else. Also, I don't like it, Mummy. I posted on an ADHD forum. Anyone else finding this drug? Anyone else taking this drug and finding it reminiscent of coming up on E? And a few people said yes, it is. But they said, but it gets better.
Okay.
After 3 or 4 days, it gets better. So I'm going to take it tomorrow. I am not going to take it Sunday or Monday because I have my first client on Monday, and I don't want to be like that. So I'm going to take some tomorrow. But it is. I don't like it, Mummy. It makes me really. When I was up, and it isn't coming. It's like the coming up. I'm speaking in drug language, guys. The coming up is like ecstasy, but you don't reach ecstasy. It's just that excited. Oh, it's going to go any minute now, and it doesn't. And I've totally lost the thread of what I was going to say. It's bloody horrible. It's horrible. I don't like it.
Oh.
I don't like it, Mummy. I don't like it. I don't like it.
As they say, it's only day one, and if they say it might get better, and you don't have to take it every day, then I take it. If you're not.
No, it's not accumulative, which is why I'm surprised by someone saying it gets better.
How does it get better? Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't like it, but I'm prepared to do it for a week, 10 days, and then get in touch with the psych and go.
This isn't it. Mm-hmm.
And it is. It is. Here we go. So it's Elvan's. Liz dexamphetamine. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's reminiscent of my past. Not reminiscent enough that I'm going, I'd like to go and get. It's not that. And that's not the problem I have with it. Is the reminiscence. I just don't like the physical feeling of it. And I'm sweating so much. In fact, I'm going to go open the back door because it's bloody hot.
Not a euphemism, guys.
Bloody hot. Hello, girls and boys. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to kick you. There was a piece of fluff in the shape of a tiny dead mouse.
Nice.
Good news.
Little bonus there.
Exciting news. Today is a really important day. And a lot of people will get this. Today is the first day of a new bag. First day of a new bag. So I cleared out the old bag, pulled out everything, threw a load of it in the bin, and the old bag is now in the bin. It's the first day of a brand new bag, and I swear to Jesus, I will never put stuff in this bag that I don't need and keep it in there for 2 years. I will never do that. I swear I will only put stuff in this bag that I need when I need it, and when I get home I'll take it out and replace it with other stuff that I need.
Narrator's voice. Of course he put things in his bag.
It's so I've only had it today, and I've kept to that promise so far. But we all know that new bags, that's the promise you keep. This will be it. But I've got to go to college. It'll be full of crap.
Yeah.
It'll be full of crap. But it's a new bag day, so that's kind of exciting. Right?
It is exciting. It's like starting school.
Yeah, I'm going back.
Have you got a new pad and a new pen?
I do need to get a new pad for. How many times have you listened to James Brown today? I haven't listened to James Brown at all, but I have played on repeat 15 times the Cannon and Ball song. And there was a great song called. It's such a good song.
Vaping on your lunch break or something?
No, it's this came up. What? This came up on my. It's by the Monroes. Now I don't know who the Monroes are, right?
I've heard of them.
But this is a great. I love songs with clunky verses and great choruses. Listen to this.
Starts in 10 minutes.
You can hear this, right, Catherine? Here we go. Listen to this.
You could always speak your mind. You work so hard to say what's right. I watch you do it all the time.
But then, like, let's jump to the chorus. It's incredible. Here we go. Here we go.
How those new drugs doing?
What do other people know?
Oh,
It's such a great song, man. The drugs are doing great, by the way. It's a great song. So I've listened to that 18 times, Cannonball 15 times. I started a band, dear viewer, with me on guitar, my friend Matt on the old Bing Bang Bong box, and an accordion, lovely woman on accordion, and a guy called Ben on bass. Gloria is the accordionist. I don't know why I didn't say her name. And I wanted to play Ra Ra Rasputin and Road to Nowhere, and they came round my house, and we played Ra Ra Rasputin, Road to Nowhere, and the Partridge Family song, I Think I Love You, and it sounded great, apart from one thing. I realised, I accepted, I knew previously, but I accepted that I can't sing.
oh, you can. It's just in your own special way.
I can't sing. And so I made a point, and the next day I phoned up Catherine and said, Catherine, I can't sing. Would you be the singer in my band, please? And you're in the band now.
Hey, would I ever?
You're in the band. So we're going to have you've not replied to my rehearsal dates.
Oh, is there an email?
I did send you an email. So Catherine,
Well, as a lead singer, I have to be a total a-hole and
Catherine
unreliable.
is in the band, and we're going to hopefully do some shows over Christmas. There's talk of one on the 14th of November, but I don't quite know if that's happening or not. And there's talk of a Christmas show.
Yeah.
And the band, we're going to get 5 songs up, and the band is either going to be the support or the closer. That's what we're going to do. I don't quite know where it would work the best. I think maybe as the closer, actually. The band is going to be... Gatford says I give it 3 months before Kath goes solo. The band is going to be the support or the closer, and it sounds great. And the other 2 songs are going to be... what's that song? Try to See It My Way. What's that song?
We Can Work It Out.
We Can Work It Out, but the Paul McCartney unplugged version. And I reckon we can do Cannon and Ball. I reckon we can do that. I reckon we can do that. It's a great sound. Acoustic guitar, accordion, bass, very, that kind of drumming. And Kath, stop calling Gatford and Jim Pete, says Pete, sorry, Jim. Kath and the Banford. So that's happening, baby. I'm excited about that.
That is quite exciting, isn't
Cheeky
it?
little grin. She said,
Yeah.
Are you sure you want me in your band? I said, yeah, of course I do.
And then I went, oh, I'll have to think about it. Yeah, go on then.
So that is happening, man. And I'm very, very excited about that. So should we invite some people in here? We're going to watch. Here's the link if you want to come and join us in the Zoom. We're going to watch some Paddington Green. It's going to be a little bit fiddly because Kath's cough.
Wake up.
Great name for a band.
Yoko. She's too cute. You know when they're asleep and you...
Pick her up. Michael
it's
and
me,
his
though.
slipper tree. Oh, it's not a bad idea, is it? You guys are around the wrong way. I think I can fix that. There we go. Is that better? Does that work better for you? Wake up, little cat. Oh,
She's so cute.
wake up. Wake up, please. I saw the picture of the cats waiting by for the Greek fisherman. I have seen that in real life. I have seen that in real life. David!
In Greece or in your house?
Hello.
Hello, Dave. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you both?
I was watching your stream. I'm a bit confused with time. I think it was yesterday.
Last night?
Yeah, and I watched about 10 minutes, and it seemed to be 10 minutes of a gentleman eating fish and chips and going, "Oh, look at this batter! Oh, this batter just comes off." And then a guy came over to him. He's going, "Yeah, I'm eating fish and chips. Oh, what this?" And all it was, he kept going, "Look at this batter! Look at this white fish!" And he was sat outside a chippy. What the hell was that?
But that guy's got like millions of YouTube subscribers.
Wow.
It's crazy. So it's a guy called Rate My Takeaway. And the thing that really drew us to him is that he takes his own table with him.
Oh,
His own table and chair. And this was pre-COVID as well. He just has his own camping table and he goes in there and said, "Do you want to take away or eat it?" He said, "No, I'm going to sit outside." And he just puts his own camping table outside. The best one, though, was the first night we were watching it. There's this cafe he goes to, and there's loads of picnic benches outside. So I'm thinking, oh, he's going to sit there. That's fine. So, yeah, he puts his stuff on the picnic bench so that he can go to his car and get his own table out and sits it next to the benches of the cafe and just sits there. And more often than not, he's in everyone's way. People are walking around there. It's crazy.
I mean, there's so much that strikes me as odd that it's got millions of views. Because to get millions of views now, you tend to have to be sort of under 25 and do something pranky. And it has to be very quick cuts, very quick. Every time there's a silence, you cut.
Oh, and that isn't. You sat there 15 minutes waiting for his food to arrive.
Oh, you don't wait? You don't wait for the food in real time.
And the drive there. It starts like when he's outside the city, and it's 10 minutes of him driving there. We often skip it, and then he's sat there waiting for it, just chatting. I'm like, you can cut this bit out. You don't have to show it in real time.
That's incredible, man.
Wow.
I don't get it. Evening, Alistair. Alistair looks like my boy, my youngest, is watching. They're reading at school, The Demon Headmaster.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
book. And they're watching the remake of The Demon Headmaster. And Alistair with his glasses up, looks like that. Come here, boy. Look into my eyes. He's got that. He's got the Demon Headmaster just before. So don't look into his eyes. Every now and then, I will say something about my career. And most of the time, my boys are like, yeah, whatever. And every now and then they go, wait, what? Really? And today I said to them, you know, I auditioned for that part. What part? The Demon Headmaster. What, to be in it? Yeah. As who? The Demon Headmaster. Whoa, really? I said, yeah, I didn't get it. It was crap, but I auditioned. And then the scene I watched was actually the script that I did in the audition. And my boys were blown away by that.
Did you audition for the remake of it?
The audition for the remake of it.
Wow.
My boys are even excited by my failures. It's very exciting. They were thrilled by that. So I was cool for a little bit after buggering up their Xbox and breaking it. I was cool again. So Alistair, you look like Kim. Good evening, Alistair. Are you well?
Evening. Can I reference back something Catherine said?
Go on.
I'm hiding from the cat.
Oh my God, why?
I went out yesterday and she was sat on my garden fence. And before I've gone out and helped her down, and there's been no issue. But last night, she suddenly turned from the sound of a cat into a snake and went, the old, if you touch me, I'm going to destroy you noise.
We've all been there. We've all been there. Some of us have been close.
What's going on, Ian, please? Can you explain that reaction?
What were you in? Were you interrupting something?
Well, maybe she had her eye on something in the back garden that she was tracking, but
Did
I
you
couldn't
touch
see
her?
anything.
Did you touch her? Because Big Boy is great. I can stroke him. I can be a little bit rough with him. I can pull bits out of him. If I touch his stomach, he goes and he grabs me. Did you touch her?
Well, because the fence is a bit higher than me, so I would grab her by the undercarriage a bit.
Okay.
To bring her down, and I have done that. So maybe she was thinking, "Don't touch me," because I don't want
touch me, cat fanny.
No,
I don't know what you mean. Maybe it's that, but also you have to remember cats are wild animals. You know, you can domesticate them to within a certain extent, but there was always that gene in them. You know, George went for me earlier, and I think again. Actually, I was winding up because he was getting on my nerves, so I thought I'd wind you up a little bit. But they, they can. They can turn, you know.
Some of their reactions are involuntary as well, because once they get locked on something, so if she was locked on something, anything else is going to trigger.
Yeah.
She's not doing it to you. She's just being a cat. And once they are in a certain track, you can't get them out of it without something.
So have you had that from Willow?
Oh God, yeah. In fact,
Really?
if she comes in, you probably hear it, because she comes in and she'll swear at the kittens. That's the first thing she'll do. And Yoshi's down here on the scratcher. There's a scratcher down here, and he'll probably jump on her because he gets trapped. He sees her and thinks, need to play, even though it always ends the same way, which is being sworn at and rolled around a bit. She doesn't hurt him, but it always goes the same way. But they're all on their little tracks. And earlier on, I was stroking Willow and the kittens came in. And because she'd seen them and was on her guard, all of a sudden, my hand, she was on. She didn't stick her claws in me or anything, but she swiped at me as if to say, no, this is over.
Bigger Boy rocked up. Bigger Boy's rocked up a couple of times. And the first time, he's not seen him for ages. And then the first time I saw him recently, if you listen to Dave, the Computer Game Show podcast episode I'm in, you will hear a massive cat scream, and you'll hear me going, "Oi, get out of this bloody house! You're not welcome here." All the cats looking at me straight, and then going off and kicking Bigger Boy out because Bigger Boy had got in. And the other time was a couple of nights ago, and he was trying to get in, and I kind of kicked. Oh, and then during David's podcast, or the Computer Game Show podcast, there's a bit where I'm talking, and I go, "Oh my fuck!" And what it is Big Boy had jumped on my lap, and I thought it was Bigger Boy, and I'm terrified. But Bigger Boy turned up the other day, and I fed him, and I said, "Right now, piss off! You're not welcome here."
That'll teach him.
That'll teach him. Visionary soup. Go on, let me just say visionary soup.
All right, Alistair. Sorry,
on,
visionary.
Hang on, go on, Kath.
Alistair, just one last thing. There's some brilliant videos made by Jackson Galaxy. Look at him up on YouTube, and he answers a lot of your cat questions, and he'll tell you about cat behaviour and stuff.
Yeah, he looks like a knob.
But he knows his stuff.
He looks like a bald.
That's not very nice, Ian, saying that about me.
All right, Alistair. All right, I apologise. You look like a penis. Visionary soup. It's lovely to see you.
Hello.
Hi. I have cat text.
Hey.
Here we go. Look at Dave. Look at Dave thinking, I don't belong in this gang. One of these things is not like the others. It's Dave. Oh, look at you. I love the ones with the kind of the faces that narrow in. I love those.
She's so gorgeous. She's not mine, but she's very gorgeous.
She looks very happy.
Look at that.
She's a total bumrick.
Beautiful.
She's very sweet.
Oh, look, Dave has got a cat on his shoulder. Yeah.
That's a rat, isn't it?
Alistair, you saving money because of the electricity bills going up?
I was lucky because just before the prices started going up, I signed up with a major supplier for a 2-year fixed rate.
I don't think they have to abide by that, I'm afraid.
Do they not?
No, and that's the problem. Someone can correct me. I don't think they have to abide by that in extenuating circumstances, which is what these are. I think so. Well,
I'm going to be very annoyed, and there will be further things happen.
There was a call to Bezic about it before this really kind of kicked off, saying that they'd agreed a thing and that it had gone up. And yeah, I don't think I think there is always a clause in the contract that they can change that if they want. So
I did save some petrol today because I was due to go to the seaside. I was due to go to Morecambe to see a friend.
Yeah.
But for mental health reasons, I bottled out and didn't go. So
why do you use the term bottled out?
Well, I always feel like a bit of a snowflake afterwards. And
you started out by saying it was for mental health reasons, right? So you know it was the right thing for you, Alistair. So bottling out that's not what it was.
Yeah, I know.
But you're not hearing that. We can all see it, and we can all show you. We can write it down and take a photo and show you, but you will not hear it or see it at this precise moment in time. I believe.
Yeah, but you know, afterwards, after a little while, you know, I thought, well, I think on balance, I think it was the right decision.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well done. Well done looking after yourself. That's what it's all about. And it's tough at the moment. But we're all here. We're all here on is it Friday night? Friday night.
It is Friday.
At 8 o'clock. We're all alive. We all made another week. That is something to celebrate.
Sounds like making healthy choices.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is, a healthy choice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was listening to one of Glennon Doyle's podcasts. Ian, are you going to do the Glennon who?
So who are these two people, Glenn and Doyle?
No, her name is Glennon Doyle, right?
Oh,
It's really
okay.
good. And she was talking about this. We've got to rethink this idea that we're striving for happiness all the time, because actually happiness is just one facet of life. And what we need to do is recognize that all the emotions are telling us something about things we need to do, right? And so what we should do is sit with all of them and stop trying to wriggle out of them and head towards happiness, because it's unrealistic, that expectation, and that will only drive you crackers.
I tell you what was not a happy moment, and I don't think we shared it in a proper show. I think I shared it in a minority stream. And for those who don't know, every Thursday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I do a stream for white men. Try and stop me. I do a stream purely for white men, because we don't have a space where we can talk openly about issues that affect white men. So if you're a white man, 4 o'clock on Thursdays. If you're a woman, if you're of a different ethnicity, if you've got a funny voice, you're not welcome. You'll be
Funny
kicked out.
voice.
Yeah, you know,
Nice.
what I mean, like Chinese.
Oh,
Or-
I see. Right.
You know what I mean? I heard a BBC Radio 4 extra comedy show, because I'm falling asleep listening to it, and it was a
yeah.
sketch show from 1990, and it was three posh white guys, awful sketches, and one of them was a reporter talking to a Chinese man who was played by a white, probably upper middle class guy. I'm not going to do it. He did the voice. Imagine, you know, someone doing the impression of a Chinese voice. He did that. And I'm in bed thinking, no one listens to this. No, if someone at the BBC had listened to it, they'd have gone, A, it's not funny, the whole thing, and B, this is racist, right? And they would have pulled it. Or occasionally you'll get this warning, the language, and I've had to do these. This is an old show, and it contains dated themes, is the phrase, dated themes and ideas. But even this was outside the concept of dated themes and ideas. It was someone doing the comedy Chinese voice, and the joke was he was being interviewed about what he knew about Norwich, and he would do the Chinese voice, Nicholas Parsons, Chinese voice, Sale of the Century, and that was the gag. And I'm in bed thinking, geez, man, this is not on. To someone needed to have listened to it. And obviously no one did. They're like, we'll have that, and that'll fill 30 minutes slot. It was incredible. Jeff McQueen, thank you very much for the
I was going to just say, Ian, that hearing you talk about your new medication and also, but it seems a bit of a faff, because you're saying that you have to go through stages of trying each one.
Hang on a second.
It seems a long process and quite difficult, I would have thought.
It is, and you have to do it. Hang on one second. Just bear with me. My computer's. I fixed my computer so the audio won't crackle. But hang on.
Big bottle of drugs with no top on.
Ah, there it is. There it is.
There we go. We got there. It's a tiny bottle. Right. Okay. Two things. For ADHD, you have to specifically. You have to. If you want any hope of getting it on the NHS, you have to follow this pattern of, we started with Zagatin, that didn't work. We've gone to Elvans, that didn't, because there are different types. So you have to be able to go to a GP and say, we tried these, this is the one, will you write a monthly prescription for it? Quite often they'll say no, depends where you are. I'm hoping that mine's okay. We've kept her, she did put me forward for NHS assessment. She's not one of those doctors that went no, and we've kept her informed of the whole thing. But this is the thing about medication, right? It is chemistry. It's chemistry. I always thought a psychiatrist was the one where you went and laid on a couch and talked about your mother. It's not. A psychiatrist is a chemist, basically. And what they do is they diagnose a condition like bipolar or a neurodiversity like ADHD, and they go, right, okay, this is your background, this is what you've got. I think this drug will work for you. And they will prescribe the drug, and you'll come back a month later and go, I felt worse. Okay, we're going to increase the dosage and we're going to add this drug. And that's what they do. And I'm privileged that I'm still able to afford this. What a GP does is you've got a 7 minutes thing. You go, I'm depressed. And they won't look for bipolar. They go, oh, you're depressed. Here's 40 grams of citalopram a day. And that's it, because they haven't got the knowledge or the time to nudge these things. There's a weird quirk of antidepressants that sometimes taking less has a bigger effect on people. But a GP hasn't got the ability to spend 30 minutes with you and going, okay, we'll try this. Come back in 3 weeks. And then also, if you feel worse, give me a call. They haven't got that ability. So it is trial and error if done.
Oh, well, good luck with it anyway.
I've just been prescribed the nasal spray for my headaches, which I've had for 2 months. That was a bigger faff than I thought to use that as well.
Go on.
You've got to prime it, like shake it, spray it in the air, then like certain types of breathing when you're doing it. I'm not sure I did it right. I mean, I put it up my nose, but
yes,
not entirely sure
but
that
it came out your bum. So
Are they migraines, Dave? Or
I think it's
other-
sinus related. I've kind of always had migraines, but this is different. And like almost every day for 2.5 months now, I've been waking up with something. So yeah, I think it's sinus. But again, you know, I was only able to talk to the doctor for 5 minutes on the phone. So it's just what they could guess.
And that's not a criticism of GPs. That's what they're working with. They have to know a little bit of everything, and they've got limited time, you know, and that's how that system works. And I'm really lucky that I can still afford to put some money aside and pay 150 quid every month to go and see a psychiatrist, because I know it will make me feel better. The bipolar stuff is great. We've hit the groove there.
Are there specific, you know, not to delve too deep into it, but with like his addiction and that stuff, are there limitations on stuff they can or would be happy to prescribe?
This is an amphetamine, right? And I go in and I always tell the doctor, whatever doctor I've got, I will always say, I have a history of addiction, primarily cocaine, but also ecstasy and marijuana and drugs. And there are issues around sex and food and shopping kind of going down the thing. I'm always straight in with them and telling them that. And I've had a really good talk with him about it. Addiction is often a part of ADHD. It's often what we do to try and get some control over that. And we have talked about amphetamines and things, and he has said there is a potential that it could awaken something. And so we have an agreement where I have said, if at any point I take a tablet and afterwards think, I think I took that for the wrong reason, or I find that thing awakening, I will get in touch with him straight away. And with this, I can stop taking it straight away. And I did that once when I was quite a few years clean, and I got prescribed tramadol. I said to them, that's when I had an operation on my anus. And I said to them, I'm an addict. Can I get the most powerful painkiller you can give me that will not go into like really strong ones? So, you know, I don't want anything too bad. So they gave me tramadol, and I didn't know anything about prescription meds. So I thought, well, they've heard me, I'll take some tramadol. Tramadol is like a heroin substitute. It's nuts. I was traveling through time. I was in Lost, and I came up with a better ending of Lost. And I was taking it because I was in a lot of pain. And then one day I took it and I thought, I'm not in pain. And I took that for the wrong reasons. So I gave them to my wife and said, can you get rid of these? Because I can't have them in the house. I can't be around them. And then about 3 weeks later, I opened a glove compartment. They were there. I said, you've got to get rid of these. I will sniff these out. So yes, Dave, there are some that are more speedy than this. And I have to just be honest with the psychiatrist, you know, and I have made.
And you've
that
also
commitment.
told me that if I spot any changes, I've got to say something.
Yes, but I said to you, if you spot any changes, let me know. And you said, what changes might they be? And I said, well, I might get irritable or angry, quick to anger. And you just looked at me and went, yeah, but what are the changes? Ginger ninjas in the house. He went on
Hello.
a second date, but the girl was a massive racist, and that's the end of that.
Yep.
That's not true, is it, Liam?
No, it is.
Oh,
Let's Liam, why don't you tell us about it? But just be careful of your language, please.
So, as Ian said, I did go on my second date. We went to McDonald's, just a cheap date.
did you book a table?
Nothing wrong with the Mackie D's, mate.
What?
Nothing wrong with the Mackie D's.
And at first it was like she wouldn't really talk and all of that. And she was basically just I don't know. I don't want to sound harsh because I don't know if she's got like a problem or something, but she was basically eating like an animal.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
no manners or nothing.
Some people do, and some people that's not a problem, and some people that's off-putting, and that's okay. Whatever you felt about that, that's okay.
What are we talking, Liam? Are we talking mouth open, full washing machine?
Mouth open, and also she was like, she had like a burger and she was like ripping like it apart basically.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, it made me feel a bit uncomfortable because obviously.
That's okay.
So anyway, so that I can deal with that kind of like, obviously not, maybe more not in public, but that's not like the deal breaker. Then she, there was these kids that were like fighting or something, and the mum told them off, and I can't remember exactly what they said, but it was something, and her response was, "Oh, that's why I don't want any kid," even though on like the dating site it says like when I've been looking for someone, I want someone that wants kid, and she has it as one kid. So it was like, well, again, that's not a massive deal breaker, but like obviously if you were trying with a kid and it didn't happen, then that obviously I would be fine with that. But when she said that, it was like, oh, it made it like worse. Anyway, so we carried on with the day, finished eating, started walking back to hers, and she said the N-word.
oh no!
no, no.
Not loudly the first time, but still.
The first
things-
time.
You said it more than once.
Yeah. So I looked around and gladly no one was around. And I said to her, you can't do that. It's racist. And also because of my job that I do around, loads of people know me. And if they see me with you, I can lose it.
Yeah.
So I said, don't do that. Like, stop. Her response was, I do it all the time and I don't get told off.
God.
And then she said it so loud that it echoed where we were. And again, I looked around, luckily no one was around. And I was just like, whoa, that's no. That all this is like not what I want.
I mean, the other stuff, like you say, like eating and all that, sometimes you think, am I expecting too much of people? But that, I think you're allowed to expect people not to use the N-word. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Especially not on a second date. I mean,
God.
That's a
when do you
fourth
normally
date
drop
word,
it in?
right?
yeah, exactly.
That's a fourth or fifth date word.
Wow.
Well, Gatford's right. Well done for calling her on it, because I'm sure we've all been in situations where someone has said something that we find personally offensive and have ignored it. You know, it's the cliche is in the back of a cab, and I have done. You know, someone says the cab driver says something racist, and I've just ignored it. It's tough to say, I'm not happy with that. I'm uncomfortable with you saying that, actually, and I don't like it. That's a tough thing to say. So well done for saying it, Liam. Oh,
especially when you're in a situation where
there could be some nookie at the end.
You're obviously wanting to make a good impression.
Yeah.
And if you, but I wonder what context she was saying it. Was she just saying it willy nilly, or I don't know?
Oh, you 100% got to call that out.
You do, and more. You're right, and I'm embarrassed to think back on the times when I didn't, and I would now. I would. And hearing you say that, Liam, is inspiring because it is tough to speak out and say that, and it doesn't have to be racism. It can be anything that sits uncomfortably and goes against your ethics and your principles. And it's that's a big thing to be able to do that, man. Well done. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. Like I
Deleted his
say,
profile on dating.com.
Say that again, Dave.
It's deleted his profile on dating.com. So
Yes. Yes. Can I just say to George's woman, you are not alone. This is I've been reading the conversation. George's woman is suffering, and he pointed like that. And I wasn't going to do that, but you know, I often think of mental health as being up here. Actually, I think for me it's more here, more in my soul. But a point there because the mental health. And I can see you are struggling, and you have been struggling. You are allowed to ask to speak to a different. If you've got a practice with more than one GP, you are allowed, is well within your rights, to say, can I speak to a different GP, please? Can I get a second opinion? It's a tough thing. Again, we're talking about tough things to say. It's tough. I remember my youngest boy when he was about 18 months. And funnily enough, we found a disc with, I think, all of his pictures on. We went to a doctor, our local GP, and it was, what do they call it, Catherine? A locum.
A locum, yeah. When there was, yeah.
And it was a guy. I hate to be that guy, but I'm going to be a little bit Nick Ferrari, okay? I have to say it because it's my truth. He had a very strong Indian accent, and we could not understand what he was saying. Me and my wife, who are very, very liberal, we could not understand what he was saying. And we had to keep saying, I'm really sorry, what did you say? And we felt terrible, you know, white middle-class liberals going, I'm really sorry, what did you say? What did you say? And we took our boy in because he had a temperature. He was only a baby. Had a temperature and was screaming a lot. And we took him in, and the doctor looked at him. Then he took a call on his mobile phone, and then he came back and said, "Yeah, no, he's fine. He's just got a fever. He's just got a fever. Go home." And we went home, and I was like going, "That's what the doctor says. He's got a fever." And my wife said, "No, it's not right. It's not right. It's not right." And we were too embarrassed to go back to the GPs and say, "Can we see someone else?" So we went to A&E, and thank God we did, because his bladder and his kidneys were wired up wrong, and he was poisoning himself with urine. He was dying. He was dying, and if we'd have waited a couple of days, could have been dead. And we were nervous to go back to the GPs and say, and actually it's better that we went to the A&E. The point I'm trying to make is, in fact, when my boy was 7 and they were doing children in need at school, and I got to go in with him, and he said, could you tell the teacher that I used to be a child in need? And I said, yeah. And it's an amazing turnaround. You know, it was really touch and go for a while. The point I'm trying to make, and I've gone off on a tangent, you are entitled to ask for a second opinion from a GP in your surgery. If it's not a practice with others, you can ask to go to another practice. That can be a little bit fiddly and it can be tough. But if you're not happy with what is being said to you, go and speak to another doctor. Go and speak to another doctor and say, I felt really dismissed, or whatever your word is, by that doctor, and I didn't feel that I was heard, and this is what's going on, and be honest. Say, I want to kill myself. Say, I'm making these things up. Say your dog is the only thing that's keeping you going. Say whatever you have to say, but say it. Don't hold any of it back.
Yeah.
That is my suggestion.
And the worst thing is that you're feeling rubbish anyway, and to have to advocate for yourself in that way can seem like just one more thing. But you've got to treat yourself as nicely as you would treat your friend.
And 116 123 116
Yeah,
123.
that's
If it
the
ever
one.
gets too much, I've been suicidal. There have been several points in my life where I've actually thought, I'm going to do it. But before I do it, I'm going to phone up the Samaritans, see if they can talk me out of it. They don't talk you out of it. But they for me, it was just like taking the kettle off of the hob. It just reduced enough that I thought, all right, I'm not going to kill myself. I still feel shit, but I'm not going to go and kill myself. My sister says, I spoke to several GPs at our local practice before I found one who knew anything about the menopause. That's it. That's it. You know, some don't. And I was talking about getting an ADHD referral by my GP. My psychiatrist was quite surprised. He went, oh, okay, she's clued up on that then. That's great. Because often they go, it's not a thing. It's not a thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is potluck, really, isn't it? Getting the right fit with a doctor. I'm having to put down, because I had an email yesterday from my eldest daughter's school saying that they want permission to vaccinate the kids.
Okay, yeah.
And they wanted me to put down which doctor's practice we used and what our doctor's name was. I couldn't tell you what our doctor's name was, to be honest, anymore, because they change so often. So it feels like, I mean, thankfully, touch wood, we've not had to go to the doctors very often over the last few years. But on the occasions where we have, it's always a different doctor. So there is no consistency, really, of care. And you have to start afresh with each person. And I've had varying levels of reaction from people in that particular surgery. So I completely get it, God. But it is potluck, isn't it? And
I have a recurring GP and she's put her finger up my bum.
Gosh.
So it was embarrassing when I went to the surgery the day after that club and she was sat there. You know, she's put her finger up my bum. And
didn't she try and get out of it next time you asked for an appointment with her?
I didn't walk in with my pants around my ankles going, here you go.
No, and all he had was a sore throat. I mean,
she did it, and I was making jokes while she was doing it. I said, I'm so sorry that you're having to do this. She went, no, it's okay. And I said, I can't remember what I said, but I made a joke, and she just, you know, to her, it's like lifting up like being a mechanic, lifting up the bonnet and having a look at the engine, the shitty engine, an engine covered in shit.
I tell you who I do get consistently for my smear test. A friend of my husband's wife.
Oh,
so often there's a cricket conversation going on below the waist.
That's the time you wouldn't mind it being inconsistent.
Just the most awkward, undignified thing to ever happen. And holding a normal conversation while someone's doing that is just, I just say, please don't bother. Just let's get it over with.
Yeah. I just want to go to my happy place. I'll play the Magic Roundabout theme in my head and pretend I'm not here, if you don't mind. But also, every time I see her, she says, oh, there's only me here. Is that okay? And I think, I'd rather have a complete stranger, but all right, I'm here now. Because you have to sort of work yourself up to it, don't you?
I lost all embarrassment when three things happened quite close to each other. I had to wipe my mum's backside after a roast dinner. What was the second one? I can't remember. And the third one was I had a piles and an anal fissure, and I'm lying on the table with my trousers around my ankles on the side with my knees up. And it turns out it's not a doctor, it's just a bloke. Walked out and came back in with 6 people and said, is it okay if I bring some students in?
Oh.
And at that point, I just thought, okay, whatever. From now on, it's not going to get any worse than this. You'd come and have a look, do what you want to do.
I didn't ask for autocraft sauce for the head.
No, but it was when I was on
It's
the
been you on
telly.
the jungle.
And I did think, oh shit, man. But that was it. Oh, the second thing was my mum was doing a trial for cannabis, medical cannabis, and I had to go in and do a questionnaire with her. And I had to. There was the question: imagine asking your mum this. When was the last time you had an orgasm?
Oh God.
Do you orgasm easily? Do you masturbate? And I said, Mum, I'm going to ask you 3 questions and we're never going to talk about this ever again in our life.
Could you not just have made up the answers? Would they have known?
I put down yes, loads, and all the time.
But why do they have to know that from getting medical cannabis?
They're perverts,
they get their kicks from it, Alistair, obviously. They're dirty. They're all stoners. They got the real stuff. By the way, £20 patrons. I recorded a really nice little podcast today where I went to visit my mum, and you'll hear me reading a bit of Danny Baker's book to my mum once I edit that. And I should say, I don't think we've got any in, but the 150s, the raw box. Sunday, 5 p.m, I think it is. We're having our little meeting. We hope you can pop.
Is your mum okay in the home?
Is great. It's her 71st birthday next month, next
Oh.
weekend.
Oh, right.
Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought she'd have lived that long? I'm hoping I can take the boys on the Sunday. So her birthday's on the Saturday. So 70 is, what year are we? 2021. Yeah, her 71st birthday. She's great. And I've worked it out. I used to, the reason I didn't go is because I felt obliged to go there for 3 or 4 hours. And, you know, you hear, if you're there for 3 or 4 hours, you will hear the same story 30 times. And she's quite often she's there, and quite often she's not there, you know. And I found it really depressing, and I resented it. But I've got it now. I go for an hour. I set myself an hour, and we either go out for a coffee. I'm not allowed to take one of my cats there. Although, hold that thought. Or we go for a coffee, or I've been going and reading Danny Baker's first book to her, because although it's set in South London and she's North London, she kind of knows that world, and there's a lot of talk about sweets from the 60s and all of that stuff. And so we'll read it, and then we'll kind of stop, and I'll go, oh, do you there was a reference to the television program The Cedar Tree today, niche TV fans, and we used to have to watch The Cedar Tree every lunchtime. And so we talked about that. And then we talked about the Sullivans, and you know, and at the end of an hour, we finished the chapter on the hour. And I said, "Okay, Mum, well, I'm going to go now, and hopefully I'll see you next week." It's perfect. Yeah. It's perfect.
Because I watched that.
The Cedar Tree was so dull. God, it was boring. That House Party and the Sullivans we used to have to watch.
Oh, I remember.
Alistair, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I just because I was reminded by kind of stuff that we discussed on here when the pandemic was really bad, especially when the government cocked up about just sending elderly people home to the homes without checking. And I watched that program Help with Jodie Comer in it and Stephen Graham.
Okay, yes, I'm aware of it. I didn't see it.
It was a tough watch, as you can imagine.
What was it about? Was it about care home? Was it about?
It was about. Jodie Comer was a carer, and it was a small care home, and Stephen Graham was a 49-year-old but with pre-senile dementia.
Yeah.
But there were other obviously clients there as well, and it gently takes you into a situation where Jodie Comer is the only carer on over a particular night, and how she deals with that, and you know, it's heartbreaking, really.
This care home is incredible, and my mum went in there. Joe, do you remember? She was young. She was would have been about 56 when she went in, and me and my sister had to make the decision. Was kind of forced on us because the council said we're not going to give you care in her house anymore because she's too much. But it was still me and my sister that had to look at every option, her moving in with us, but all of that, and we had to say we're going to put her in a care home. It was absolutely horrendous. About 56. There's a guy that was in there that went there in his 40s because he got the bends. He was a diver and he got the bends, and he's all there. He just can't walk, can't use his body, and his speech is a bit slow. Here's the point I was thinking of, Catherine. The care home's still really strict, and I'm allowed to go in her room if I do a PCR and another test, but they won't let me take the cat in. So you have knowledge of cats on leads, is that correct?
Yeah.
Talk to me about it, because I want to take Pats. I really want to take Pats, and I might take her on a lead.
All right. I think I've still got one because I tried one with Willow when I first had her. I mean, the wrong cat. I think Reese would quite like it.
If you're going to a coffee shop with her, sorry, Kevin, if you're going to a coffee shop, can't the cat meet you at the coffee shop?
Yeah, I suppose so. You could do that.
But yeah, you can have a look at what Jackson Galaxy has to say about it. There are varying,
Pats will be the one.
Some people don't like the idea, but actually he says, and if he says it's all right, I go with him.
Pats will be the one, because after the accident, she's very cuddly. My sister says it's not fair if Patty can go in, but I can't. Patty is not allowed in, unfortunately. Yeah. And there is some confusion at the care home about who can go in the room. You're allowed to have one nominated person, but they have to do 2 tests. But someone said, God, that's strict. Yeah, too bloody right, it's strict. I'm glad it's strict. They've had as far as I'm aware, no one in that home has died of it. It got in there. My mum had it, and we thought, shit, well, here she goes. She's going to die. She was really ill for 2 days, and on the Wednesday, I phoned up. How is she? Oh yeah, she's fine now. Yeah, that was that. But I'm glad it's really strict. Keep it really strict. You know, the guy that's in charge of it. I mean, he used to be the handyman. I don't quite know what he's doing now, but the guy that's in charge of it. I met him outside once, and he said, "Do you wear that mask every day?" I went, "Yeah." And he took a step back. I thought, and he said, "I take the mask thing really seriously. You need to wash it." It's like, shit. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You know, it's great. You have to go in. You can go into the kind of the vestibule. They have a thermometer on the wall that you don't touch, and you put your head up again. Oh, it's great. I love it. More of that, please.
Yeah, it's when people start getting loosey-goosey and like, go on, it's be fine, is when things get in.
Well, it sounds like we just need to make the maintenance men of all the care homes in charge. It'll be fine.
I'm not quite sure how he got in charge of it, really. But
Just inherited the job, maybe. He was there long enough.
I think maybe.
The manager left, and just he got the job. Sat at the desk.
I remember. I have my great nana that's in the care home, who also has dementia.
No.
They allow anyone in during the lockdown.
Yeah, good.
And when they finally did, they had to. It was only my mum allowed.
Yeah.
Which obviously, like for me, my younger brother, and my stepdad would normally go. Well, we wouldn't go every week, but near enough every week. And still now, they're only allowed 2 at a time. So mum doesn't struggle to go on her own. So my stepdad goes in with her. So it's been quite hard for me and my younger brother.
It's tough. And that's happening all over the country, not to belittle or demean your experience. It's tough. I remember when quite far into the first lockdown, I phoned up and said, "Can I just come and sit outside her window?" And they went and they had like a meeting about it. And they said, "Yeah, as long as you wiped out, we will provide you with a chair. You're not allowed in the building. You have to go round the side. You're not allowed to touch the window. And when you're finished, you have to walk away and call us. And we will come and disinfect the chair. And we will, and it was incredible. Just sat outside a window. And I think, I phoned her up. So we were on the phone, like we were in a submarine or something. And it was incredible. And it's tough. And I know that so many people, lockdown started and they never got to see their relative again. That was it. That was it. And I thought it was going to be it for us. And my mother is indestructible. I will be dead one day. She will be at my bloody funeral because we cannot get rid of that woman. But it's tough, Liam, and I'm sorry that you are going through that. It's tough is the word. It's horrible.
Yeah, like she also, I don't know if it was, I don't think she got it, but there was a couple of people in the care home that got COVID, which made it worse because I think it was just after my mum started seeing her again, and we were all like, "Oh yeah, we're going to be able to see her," and after a couple of weeks, and then one of them, we got a phone call saying, "Oh, you can't come in this week. We've got like 3 people that have got COVID," and it was like, "Oh, no, definitely not what we want to hear."
It's any of the care, we're lucky. This is a really good care home. My mum is now being paid for predominantly, not completely, by the council, but it was an expensive one, and we are lucky that she's still there. Once she was unable to pay for it anymore, there was talk of her getting kicked out and moved to a cheaper one, and we're really lucky. But also all of the care homes where people have died, I have got nothing but respect for them because they were given shit all. This place actually had PPE in stock before, and I don't quite know why, but they had it in stock, and they also had enough money to buy it quite early on. But the care homes where people died, that's criminal, man. That's criminal. I've got nothing but respect for the people that went in every day and risked their lives to look after, our most precious asset, and they were. It's kind of back to where we started. They were shat upon by the government, who were putting sick people in the care homes, not testing people and putting them in the care homes.
And giving them no guidance.
No guidance, and making up this bullshit retrospectively, saying, "Oh, no, we have a ring of steel." No, you didn't. You were putting sick people in there. You didn't tell them what the rules were. What can I say, man? What can I say?
Yeah, like,
This is one of the worst governments ever, isn't it?
And
Really?
that's saying something. We have had the worst each prime minister has been significantly worse than the first. You know, imagine anybody worse than David Cameron. Oh, hello, we've got Theresa May. Well, we can't get worse than that. Oh my God, it's him.
At least it means next we've just got a sack of tax. A literal that trajectory.
But there are people that are still going, that still believe, but still buy Boris's shtick. Partly because they believe his lies, partly because we got our sovereignty back, and partly because people like me are upset by it. And people have called it out on Twitter. They call it out to James O'Brien a lot. Wipe up those liberal tears. I'm glad you're miserable. People are happy to be worse off because people like me are unhappy with the situation.
But that brings us back to that, what we were saying at the start of the show, which was while we're all pointing fingers at each other and enjoying winding each other up, the people at the top are still bumbling along and serving themselves, helping their mates into positions of power and cocking it up time and time again, and then making out badly that they know what they're doing. Whenever I see a minister at the moment being asked about something, what plans are being made, whatever, it feels like a kid who's been caught out not reading the book that he had to read for his homework. You can tell, you can see that they're making it up as they go along. But enough people still seem to be willing to give them either the benefit of the doubt or support because they hate the right people, or they're making life difficult for the right people as far as they're concerned. But there are people that I really care about, and they are clever, clever people, and they are still falling for the, oh, well, he's doing his best. No one else could have dealt with this. He's not dealt with it. Stop kidding yourselves. He's looking out for himself.
He's not dealing with it. He went and got it.
Hang on, Dave, hang on a second. Go on, Visually Soup.
I was just saying, he wasn't dealing with it. He went and got it.
Yeah. And we all thought that might be the turning point. Oh, he's got it now. Now he knows what it's like. No, he was more of an arsehole. Go on, Dave.
Yeah.
It was Alistair.
Oh, Alistair, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
It's hard to tell in the shadows.
Yeah.
You look like you're on witness protection.
I'm still hiding from the cat. People often forget. Well, no, I don't. I think people often forget. I don't know for sure that the people at the top, these people in charge, don't go through the struggles that everyday people do.
No.
Now, I know that's a kind of an obvious thing to say because they can do whatever. They can find petrol from anywhere. They can go privately health-wise. They can pay for
They're multi-millionaires. They're multi-millionaires.
The best care home.
Rishi Sunak is close to being a billionaire, I think.
So, I mean, I just hope that in a couple of years, whenever the general election is, that people will try and try an alternative to this particular, kind of right-wing reactionary ideology.
Reading Danny Baker's book, it's written a few years ago, and I was reminded of something that was the biggest scandal ever. And he talks about how his dad would, what is the phrase? Up to skullduggery or something. And every time someone, like a football manager, lost a job, he'd say, oh, was he up to skullduggery? Go, no, he was just a crap football manager. Oh, you bet there was something going on. Talking about bribes. And Danny Baker says, if my dad were alive now, he would absolutely be smiling with glee at the expenses scandal, saying, oh, they're all up to it, beautiful. You remember that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. We thought, well, they can't get any worse than that. They've bought a duck house for £15,000. Lembit Opik has bought a £2,500 television on our money. That's outrageous. Oh no, it can get infinitely worse than that. They're literally allowing people to die.
I remember interviewing Barbara Follett, MP and wife of Ken Follett, multi-millionaire best-selling author, right? And she had been caught out because she'd bought a house in London, and people were questioning her need to have this house in London, and one also, I think, is it around Stevenage somewhere?
Yeah,
it was
half an hour on the train.
Yeah, it was half an hour on the train. And she was furious with me because I suggested that she might need a bolt hole in London because obviously sometimes they sit late. I was actually throwing her a bone. She went, "It's not a bolt hole, it's a house." And I thought, okay, not helping yourself. I said, but you've got people, at that time there was an MP called Kerry Cooper. I think that was his name.
That's your friend.
No, that's Kerry Cooper.
Kerry. Oh, okay.
I think his name was Kerry. And he had 6 kids, right? And he used to go in from his place in Stevenage or around the area. He had a similar journey to her. He used to go on his bike and he used to bike to and from and used to go on the train and used to come back every single time, right? And she said she couldn't possibly do that because she had dogs. I mean, different world. And she also resented me suggesting that people would be less likely to forgive her for something like that because she had she was from a wealthy background, had a wealthy husband. She went, "I can't believe you're bringing my husband into this." It's like, think about how people see you.
Now, can I play you a little clip? I haven't heard this for years, and I'd be keen to hear this. This is a recorded phone call between Boris Johnson, from years ago, talking to his friend Darius Guppy.
Boris, have you got this number? Gerard, look, there is a guy at the moment.
That's Boris.
Going through. You're brilliant. His files at home. Fantastic. But I am telling you something, Boris. This guy has got my blood up, all right? And there is nothing which I won't do to get my revenge. It's as simple as that. How badly are you going to hurt this guy? Not badly at all. I want to know. Okay, let me explain this. If this guy is serious, I'll be fucking furious. I guarantee you.
If this guy sues me, I'll be fucking furious.
He will not have a broken limb or broken arm. He will not be put into intensive care or anything like that. He will probably get a couple of black eyes and a cracked rib or something like that. Nothing which you didn't suffer in rugby, okay? But he'll get scared, and that's what I want him to do. I want him to get scared. I want him to have no idea who's behind it, okay? Okay, I get it. You will not, Boris. I swear to you. If you knew, I'm not fair. I'm got this.
That's your prime minister, man. That would be, in the olden days, if that got released, the guy would be gone within seconds. That's there. People go, that's cool.
And his defense was, I didn't actually give him the address. It's like, well, you didn't tell him that he shouldn't be behaving like that either, did you? It sounded like he was doing what he does, which is telling people what they want to hear.
Even though I remember that being played on Have I Got News For You with him as a guest, and it just being a joke.
He fudged, didn't he? It was Kerry Pollard I was referring to earlier on, by the way. But yeah, he gets away with it every time because he does this kind of and now there's a suggestion that after the COVID, it's kind of affected his memory and stuff. I mean, how many more allowances are we going to give this guy? He's had allowances all his life.
He started quoting the Muppets at the UN now.
Sorry.
Go on, Dave. Yes, you make a good point.
Yeah,
he started quoting the Muppets at the UN, hasn't he?
Yeah, he went down like a cold cup of sick, didn't it?
You're right. There is a great interview. Maybe we'll play it another night with Eddie Mair confronting Boris Johnson. I think on a weekend political show, maybe the Andrew Marr show, confronting with all of this. And Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, don't call him Boris, is doing that. Well, blah, blah, blah. And he just went, "You're a really nasty piece of work, aren't you, Boris Johnson?" And that's that. The two of the greatest political interviews, Eddie Mair with Boris Johnson and James O'Brien with Nigel Farage, where at the end, Farage's people come in and say, right, this interview's over, we're going now, on live radio. Oh, it's magnificent, because O'Brien has done his research and has got every fact down and backed up, and it is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a real master. I'm sure they probably do play that interview at journalist college and on courses, because it's perfect. He's gone in with all of his facts, and he's got them all just ready. Every time one has been batted away, he can go, okay, well, how about this? How about this? Boom, 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 boom.
Is that on YouTube, Ian?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. It must be on YouTube. It's beautiful. It's live, and it's one of those things where, where Farage is completely on the back foot. And his press guy comes in, right, this is over now. We're going. But I was just asking him, let me see if I can.
There are quite frequently fact-checking things that you see on Twitter where it says, they said this is the truth. But here's the thing. Supporters don't care. As long as they're getting what they want, largely, they're willing to let a lot of things slide because they're not the ones affected by it.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can. Let's just see if we can play the end of this.
Expenses. These are allowances, fixed rate allowances, which I've spent in accordance with the rules.
So will you go for the audit that all Labour MEPs go for?
We will make a decision en masse.
Well, yes or
after
no,
the
Nigel,
selection,
you're in charge.
But I'm very suspicious of the word audit used in that context.
Are you?
Yes. Very.
Okay. Nigel Farage,
All
many
right.
thanks for your time and energy
Thank you.
this afternoon. There's a full list, of course, of all Euro candidates available on the LBC website. Goodbye, Mr. O'Flynn. Goodbye, Mr. Farage. Many thanks for your time. It's 11:50.
Okay, he ends it. I misremembered it, but I'll post the link in the chat. It really is. I hadn't seen it. I didn't know there was video of it, but it's remarkable and it's bloody uncomfortable. Love it. We're not going to watch any Paddington Green tonight. Paddington Green is not.
I was looking forward to going back down the cellar with Mr. What's his name.
It would have been a slightly fiddly setup with you not being there. So we'll do well. Maybe we won't do it next week because you've.
It's a shame because it was a pleasure I get out of life.
It is a pleasure we all get out of it. I should be around for Friday night if we're doing a Friday night stream.
Out of life.
I don't know if you've seen. I know for practice for next week, Catherine, there are some unbanned requests.
Oh,
I've seen some. Some of them are not even going to get a mention.
There's one that's ludicrous.
Oh, because the mods, Dave is one of our fantastic mods, and thank you, mods. They get to see the unbanned requests. I don't even know how to access that, so I never see them. I just get them live. So Catherine we're not quite sure what the schedule is for you next week because you are jury duty, we think.
Yeah.
We will not watch any Paddington Green without you. That will not be fair. But I really would like to do like a crap movie watch along on Twitch one evening. Dear viewers, so if you have any suggestions of a movie that we can watch that's on Amazon Prime that we don't have to pay for,
I was going to suggest He-Man, but I guess that's not on there.
they do have a load of old crap on there.
Well, I want to watch that one Alistair mentioned.
Antimatter.
Oh God!
Hang on a minute. Let's look up He-Man. No, it's not. It's on a funny thing that you'd have to subscribe to. What Antimatter, Alistair? You were really angry with this movie. What was so bad about it?
It's just it
gets 3.5 stars.
Other aspects of it, like the cinematography, the acting, that was fine. Just the narrative is completely nuts.
Well, I'm watching the trailer and I've just seen. I'll tell you what we'll do. You guys won't be able to see it, but I will be able to show it to the fans. The fans will get to see this.
Maybe I'm being too.
He might be
because I know a little bit about science and.
I didn't know. Right, hang on. Let's just watch this trailer, and then we will come back and we will question that. Here we go.
See a magic
so you
trick?
won't be able to hear this, but they can.
I can make matter disappear.
Night crayfish. Okay, it's quite a slow trailer so far. There's a machine.
Wormhole theory.
We're moving fast here.
So let's send something big.
Okay, it does look a little bit crap. I'm going to give you that. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe that won't be the thing. Has anyone here? Tell us about your knowledge of science, Alistair. Sorry, I don't mean to.
Yeah, it's I've looked into it.
You've looked into science.
He's done his own. Do your own research, Ian. Do your own
That's
research.
awesome. Yeah, I've looked into it.
You see, matter and antimatter. You can't have matter and antimatter in the same space because that would cause a massive explosion.
Isn't that what the Hadron Collider's doing?
The what? Sorry.
Yeah,
Large
that's
Hadron
connected.
Collider.
You're right, that's connected. So we're all, it doesn't matter what Boris is doing. I mean, it could all end in a minute.
Trying to think of right. So they haven't got Primer on Amazon Prime. Oh, what was that? Is Alistair? Is that you?
What's that?
I heard cats.
Right.
So that was
I'm going to try and get
Catherine.
Willow in. I'm just going to give her a shout.
I had to get mine in, but they're outside.
I think the cats are in charge now.
Yeah.
I think that's how the pecking order goes.
Yeah, it's very true.
Oh,
It's my cats. It was my cats. There was chaos. So Prime is not on Amazon Prime, which is a great time travel movie. I wonder if Coherence is.
Coherence is on something.
Oh, maybe we watch Coherence, although it's not a crap film. It's a great
It's brilliant, yeah.
It is great. It was made for like, I don't know, $50,000. And it is great. It's about a group of people having dinner. And then there's like some meteors outside. And all the power goes. So they decide to go and look outside and see what's happened. It is incredible. And I've not watched it for quite a few years. So maybe on Tuesday. Sorry, Alistair, I should check with you. Does this fit in with your science? Is this good science or bad science?
This film is scientifically valid. Ian.
Awesome.
Documentary.
I love the fact that we now have a science correspondent and he was staring at us.
The whole time.
Catherine, have you got the smoke machine going? Catherine, do you have the smoke machine? Do you have the smoke machine going there?
No.
Gatford, are you in your PJs?
No, it's just a casual shirt.
I'm H-A-P-P-Y, I'm H-A-P-P-Y.
Willow was coming in. She came running in over the horizon, and then she saw a hedgehog. So
I've got a list of the top 50 movies on Amazon Prime.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow.
Amazon Prime. Now, they are starting to, at last. Who were we talking to, Catherine, who was doing a series on Amazon? Oh, it was...
Lee Kern.
No. It was... I can't remember her name. Kate Garner's mum.
Kate Garner's mum. Oh, yes.
Mrs. Garner.
Joan Hodges.
Joan Hodges, who's an actress. And she's doing like a big budget series on Amazon. Amazon Prime is finally throwing money. Instead of just like going around to old post offices and happy shoppers and picking up the VHS videos in the box out the front, free for anyone or 50p, and just putting that crap on, they're actually making good stuff now.
There's some good TV series on Amazon Prime.
Okay, well, tell us.
But okay, I'll give you a few movies that you can. So the original.
Give us number 50. Give us 50 to 40.
I'm not sure if this is done in any. I think it might be done. Oh, it's in alphabetical order. I'm afraid it's not.
It's not a top 50, then, is it?
Well, no, it's 50 good films. It's not in the order.
Here's what we're going to do.
You give me a number, I'll tell you the film.
Well, no, it's alphabetical order. We're going to give you a letter.
Okay, go.
We're all going to pick a letter, and we're going to get two movies that then become our movies, right? I'll go first. B.
Okay.
Give me two Bs that I now own forever.
Okay, so the first is Big Fish.
Oh, that's a good film.
By Ewan McGregor.
By the way, John Harris is saying Bannisterford. Bannistersford. I don't know if that quite works. Okay.
It does seem to be a running
theme. If you go
theme.
up my stairs, does it come down Kath's stairs?
Oh, God, look at that.
Or are they the same stairs?
Catherine didn't know how stairs were made and how they were put into a house.
I'm not sure I can ridicule in that. I'm not sure I know that either.
No, I don't.
What? You know, you can go to there are stair shops where you go in and they sell stairs, and they have.
Wait, this is new.
How do you think they do it? They they come in and there's a gap, and so they get a piece of wood and they hammer that in, and then they get another piece of wood and hammer that in. And how do you think they do it?
I'm pretty sure I got my knowledge from the Money Pit, where weren't they trapped upstairs for a while?
Yeah. I kind of assume that every house I get comes with stairs, and I don't have to install it myself.
They don't grow naturally.
I want to hear from Visionary.
That's what I was thinking.
How did you think, Visionary, stairs were made?
Well, I figured they would just. I mean, in my house, there's literally one wall, then there's another wall, and then the steps are going in between. And I know that's not right.
Do you think they build them up from the bottom?
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Fixed in, yeah.
Apparently not.
There are shops. I know this because we had in a house I lived in. We had a loft conversion, and we had stairs installed, and they come and they measure the stairs. And I think ours came in 2 parts, but they brought stairs in to the house, and I'm being asked to do something. Oh look, hang on. Well, my that fits with that. But I'm being asked to do something here by the fans, and as you know, I love our fans. So hang on a second.
Apparently a bit loud.
And then add pin. There we go. We've got. There we go. We've got the banisters in place there.
Oh, I can see it now. Very good. Right. Do you want...
I only saw that because Catherine spoke first and then Catherine, so I could see it split between the two.
Right, so I've got Big Fish. Give me another B, please.
Burlesque.
Oh, that's crap. It's got share in it, though.
Yeah, it has got share. Well, that's I imagine why it's there. Kath,
Visionary,
yeah.
You pick a letter, please, and you get 2 films that you own forever.
Well, it's going to have to be V, isn't it?
Well, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be. I mean, it's
Well, I figured it probably that or A, but I think V.
Okay, there's only one V, but it is a classic.
For vagina and arse.
Vertigo by Alfred Hitchcock,
Well, is
starring
it
James
Hitchcock
Stewart.
or is it Gus Van Sant?
No, it is the Hitchcock, not the remake.
So it's the inferior version. Okay.
Would you like a number one to make? Would you like a numbered one to make up for the 2, Visionary?
Yeah, let's have 16.
Well, I've only got 2 with numbers. So 30 days of.
I've only got 2 numbers.
Well, a film with a number. 30 Days of Night, starring Josh Hartnett and Melissa George, who was in Home and Away.
Oh, Melissa
I'll
George
take
was in
that.
Triangle. Yeah. All right, Catherine, pick a letter, please.
I'm going to go for
a consonant.
I am actually
2 from the top and 1 from the bottom, please.
I'm going to go for D.
She loves the D.
I'm afraid there are no Ds. Would you like to pick another?
No D? Denied?
You were D.
Hunter. Catherine, you get no movies. You're out.
Good. I ain't got time.
Liam, your turn, please.
L.
Hold on, that requires a little bit of scrolling. Sorry, there are no L's.
You're out. Liam, you're out. I didn't realise there was a danger element to this. Alistair, you're next, please.
A, please, Gary.
Okay. First of all, you have Absence of Malice.
Okay, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get to the films first.
Absence of Malice, starring Paul Newman and Sally Field, 1981.
Oh, I love Sally Field, but I don't think that was a ripe era for either of those 2 actors.
And a very underrated actor, Bob Balaban.
I love Bob Balaban. My friend Mackenzie is friends with Bob Balaban, bizarrely. I love Bob Balaban. He is just wonderful. Is he in
a real person?
Yeah, he is. Is he in
He's in Harry David.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Is he in that?
I'll have to Google.
He's a great actor. He's kind of like a little bookish man, Catherine. Balding, glasses, but just absolutely brilliant. Absence of Malister, says Beastie Boy. Thank you.
Are there any more A's?
Yes, there's another A. Across the Universe.
Oh, that's Beatles songs. Unlucky, mate.
Starring Evan Rachel Wood and Jim Sturgis.
Okay, all right.
Yes, Bob Balaban. Yes, Bob Balaban was in Close Encounters in the Third.
I think he's one of the scientists. Dave, it's over to you. Will you pick a letter that has movies, or will you be out of the game?
Z.
The game. Z.
Risky move there.
Sorry. Hang on. What do we say in this country? Do we say Z or
Z?
Z?
Z.
Z.
Do we not say Z?
No, we don't say Z.
Okay.
Oh.
In the words of, in the noises of Family Fortune.
Okay, so that leaves me, Visionary, and right. So what we need to do is we're going to set this up. So, Alistair, you had a letter, didn't you? Yes.
Aye.
I mean, talk of stretching the term game as much as we can. But as you know,
I was strung out on heroin.
So that's why this is fun to me. We have to say goodbye to my queen, the lead singer in my group. Okay, my turn. W, please. Gatford, we cannot hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay. There is only the one W. When a Stranger Calls, starring Lance Henriksen.
Oh, he's good. He's in Millennium.
This is a good one. It says, fear turns to horror when a 16-year-old babysitter realizes a series of frightening phone calls that threaten the sleeping children. are coming from within the
Oh,
house.
I love films like that.
Oh!
I love. All right, I take it. Visionary, your go.
Can I have a tea, please, Gatford?
By the way, I'm too old to twitch says Gatford goes above Kay and DeCampo on the list of Family Fortunes presenters thanks to this. This is great. Was DeCampo a Family Fortunes presenter?
He's doing it at the moment.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of play at the moment, isn't he?
He's obviously got photos of somebody, right? There's a number of T's here. So just from the top. Number 1, The Animal, starring Rob Schneider.
No. The does not count.
Well,
No.
it's called The Animal. It's not just called Animal.
No. Go to what? No. T.
All right.
No, it should be an A. No. Go to.
All right.
Go to the letter T, please.
Well, in that case, then.
100.
Here we are. Right. Okay. To Rome with Love. Elliot Page, written by Woody Allen and starring Woody Allen.
Problematic.
Problematic.
What year is it from as well, please?
Doesn't say. I'd have to click.
Sounds 21st century. We do.
It certainly looks modern because Elliot Page is young, isn't she? So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
He is.
The less said.
Yes. And one more T, please, for Visionary.
Well, we don't have any more T's that are not the.
Oh, okay. So it's one. Okay. If Alistair gets a letter that has 2 films attached to it, he wins. It's as simple as that.
Awesome.
Shall I go now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
If you got to go, you better go now.
I'll say A, Gary.
Could you repeat?
E. As in extra.
Why am I finding this so entertaining? Because it's not, but I'm loving it.
Simple. That's right. Oh, sorry, there's no E.
It's down to me and Visionary. Oh my God.
Oh.
Okay.
The excitement.
This is sudden death. So if one of us,
is that what the loser gets?
If it's what the winner gets. If there's no film, you lose. If one gets 1 film and one gets 2 films, we lose. If there is a film, we put it to the vote as to which is the best film. I'm going to pick K.
It's a risky move, in my opinion. No.
No K.
Okay.
Visionary, it's down to you. You can do this. You can do this. And while you're doing it, we're going to get a nice close-up of, I'm guessing that's Yoko?
That's Yoko.
Having a little wash. There's nothing better than watching a cat wash. So we just get nice and calming. We're going to see the face of stress and we're going to see a cat having a wash. Here we go. Over to you, Visionary.
Okay. I thought very carefully whilst you were talking. I'm going to go for G.
You forget. Okay. There are 2 films with G. Green Lantern, the Ryan Reynolds version.
Ooh.
Yes.
And a classic Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier.
Oh, that would have won anyway. That would have won anyway. A great film.
I think if there's not much of a better film on this list than that.
That is the best. Now we get to look at Yoko having a wash. Kath, do your cats all start washing at the same time?
Just check and see what Yoshi's doing. Oh, she's heard you. Hang on.
Oh, because mine. I will look down and I'll see George having a wash. Then I'll look.
Yoshi has also stopped, but there was jangling. I think he was.
Yeah, my cats all. It's bath time, and what is so lovely is when I go to bed, they all come up with me, and they all have. Big Boy sits by my feet on the left. Mucky sits on the other side of my legs at the end of the bed, and that's quite tense. Mucky. Lucky has started sleeping on the pillow next to me. George will often be in the bed, although sometimes he'll be in the laundry basket, and Pats goes wherever Pats wants to go. But it's magic, isn't it? It's the best thing.
Can I just say that I'm disappointed that nobody picked P? Listen to these 3 heavy
Gatford's
hitters.
still there. I forgot. Sorry.
Oh, listen to these 3 heavy hitters you could have had. Number 1, Philadelphia. Number 2, Phone Booth.
Oh, I like Phone Booth.
Number 3, Premonition, a vastly underrated Sandra Bullock film.
I like that.
A suburban housewife races against time to prevent the death of her husband. It's a very good film.
Yeah, that was a good film.
So there you are. Here's what you could have won.
Well, Visionary Soup, you won. You get to keep all of the movies, but the decision is made on probably Tuesday evening. Coherence is going to be watched, and you're all welcome to join us if you have Amazon Prime. I am reminded, Catherine, of what I started talking about 2 hours ago when I went to Magnet Kitchens.
Oh!
I only spoke about this on the Safe Space for White Men show. Oh, by the way, if someone wants to make...
Can I have a link to that, by the way?
If someone wants to make a T-shirt with a big G in the style of the Superman S, I think that is great merch that we could also... I would love to see Gatford wearing a Super G T-shirt.
If Liam is in the chat, Liam will make a T-shirt of everything. Hence why I now have merch, because Liam wanted it.
Oh, beautiful.
So, yeah, so Liam will make it.
So I went to Magnet Kitchens, and Catherine very kindly came along with me because I can't choose any of that stuff. If you come and see my bathroom, as I believe Jimbo's going to be coming round for a coffee at some point.
Oh.
It's just all white. It's all white because I went, yes, have it white. And then it got put in. I went, oh, it's all white. It's a bit... So I can't make these decisions. Jamal, thank you very much for the sub. So Catherine came. We booked a 90-minute session at Magnet, and we walked on. Very warm greeting by the gentleman there. He said, oh, you've brought your own coffees. I'd have made you a coffee. And then we sat with a woman. Let's call her Sharon. That wasn't her name. And it was slightly odd because there's the Perspex glass, but that's fine. And I had measured my kitchen and done a drawing and sent it to her. And she had... I got all the measurements wrong. And I think I'd put the kitchen was like 440 centimeters long or something. And she'd looked at pictures and she'd made it right. And it was up as a graph on the computer screen. And that was great. And then she said, right, what do you want from your kitchen? I said, I don't really know, really. She said, well, go and have a look around the shop, see what grabs you. So we walked around this rather small shop and looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kitchens. And I was thinking... right, well, when are they going to get the brochures out and show us the brochures? And they didn't have any brochures. So I picked a kitchen and went, well, I quite like that one. And we then talking about the colour. She goes, all right, well, we'll go and design that. So she was designing it. And then we had to go out for 20 minutes because it took so long. And we came back and she said, right, well, here's your kitchen. She showed you this computer-aided design, showed us the kitchen. And she said, here's the bill. And this is where it started to get a little bit fruity, right? And she'd been no help in choosing the kitchen. You've got these 5 to choose from. So we got the bill. And I'd said that we're on a budget. So we've got quite a tight budget. And the bill for the kitchen, including installation, was £22,000, right? That was the bill. Well, wait, Alistair, wait. And then next to it was a column that said, after promotion, £12,500. And I'm thinking, I'm not some blind old woman that you're trying to sell double glazing to. You know the thing where they go, well, let me just phone my manager. What? Really? We can take £2,500 off. He's never... I'm thinking, please don't pull this promotion crap on me. And it was about 3,800 to get their installers to do it. And I said, even this 12,500 is way over my budget. But let's try and size it down a bit. First of all, let's take off your builders because I'll get my own builders in. And so it's £12,500, and she took off the £3,500 for the builders, and suddenly the whole kitchen was £8,000. And I was like, but you took off £3,500. That should be £9,000. And she said, oh yeah. But because you're not using our builders, we swallow some of the price of the kitchen.
Yeah, she started talking about something called the margin. We work on the basis of a margin. And so, because you're not having the builder, we're allowed to give you more of a discount.
And I looked at Catherine, and if this had been a radio interview, Catherine would have given me the hand to say, leave it. And I looked at it and I said, can you explain that again? Surely, if we're not using your builders, the kitchen would be the same price or possibly even more expensive. Oh, no, we swallow it. It's the margin. And I said, look, I really don't want to use the word scam, but this sounds like a scam that I couldn't get my head around it. And so I did feel a bit bad because we kind of walked out kind of laughing and I think we were slightly disrespectful. But they had wasted 90 minutes of our time. And then she sent me an email later on saying, I probably wasn't clear. This is how it works. And it just made it more muddied and confused. But I wrote back saying, OK, well, thanks for explaining it. That makes sense. Didn't make any sense at all. It was the weirdest thing. And it was a waste of time because, first of all, the measurements were to cock. That was my fault.
Oh, she also said, oh, you have chosen the most expensive kitchen, is
That
what she
was
said
it.
after she'd allowed us to go through
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah, she said, you have chosen the most expensive kitchen. And I didn't say anything, but I thought, I did say as we started that we're on quite a tight budget. And at no point did she say, okay, you've chosen that. That is a great kitchen. In fact, that's our best and it's our most expensive. We've got these other two. This is the mid-price and this is the cheapest, just so you know. It was when we were sat there looking at the bill going, well, I can't afford this. This is a waste of time. But it was, Caterfer used to be, I think, a kitchen designer. Why don't they just give you the best price straight away? That's what we used to do. Couldn't be asked with haggling. It is the kind of situation my dad would have gone, all right, what's the best deal for cash? And actually, I'm starting to think that was probably a good thing to ask. We could have played that game of going,
Except they're not really interested in you paying it all off straight away.
No,
What
no.
they
No.
want is to get you on the never never, because what they're really selling, it's like with cars these days, they're not
Yeah.
interested in you giving them a deposit. They want you to take out a loan, essentially. That's what it is. It's all about finance.
Just to
now.
get the interest commission. They do it as well as like a shock tactic. I used to sell beds at places like the Ideal Home Exhibition, and you do it first as like a shock tactic. And people are so shocked by the time you've got the price back down, they're so relieved, they go for it.
It's exactly it. I said to Ian, I said, that's what it's all about. It's to make you feel like they're doing you a favour, but you'll still be paying more than you were prepared to go when you went in there. But because it feels like they've taken 12 grand off for you, you think, wow, actually, maybe my
They
thinking
almost
was
feel
screwy.
obliged.
Yeah.
They almost feel obliged to sort of go with it because you've spent so much time getting the price down.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did do it.
Back in the day when I was earning TV money, I only ever had one flash car, and that was when I was insane on cocaine, and it was I was insane, and I bought a really expensive car that caused a lot of problems. But normally I'd just go and buy like a second-hand Golf. That was my car of choice, a second-hand Golf. And once I thought, I'm gonna buy myself a brand new Golf, pointless because it was not as good as the one I just sold. Anyway, and so I said, right, I'll have that one. I'll have that Golf. I don't know, £12,000, whatever it was. I'm not sure. And they said, okay, well, let's go in and okay, so let's talk about the finance deal. I said, oh, no. I've got my Switch card. I'll put it on that. This is, TV days. Sorry. I put it on my Switch card. I'll pay for it now. No. What we can do is we can do a finance deal where it's, and I said, no, I don't want it. I just want to pay it. And I'm done. She said, well, the benefits of that, I said, honestly, I just want to pay for it right now. And I thought they'd be grateful, but she was really pissed off because obviously they get their commission from that. That's how the company makes their money. And oh man, to be able to afford to do that now on my Switch card, imagine.
Plus, also, does anyone have a Switch card anymore?
No, you don't have Switches anymore. But
Or Solo.
Back in the day, all money. But yeah, it was a real. Oh God, it was. I mean, the kitchen is probably. I mean, certainly that kitchen is out of range. And a few people have said IKEA kitchens. David Turner's is a computer-aided designer, and he said he'd do it for me. But he also sent me. I should be able to show you this.
You know full well there would be a webcam built into that kitchen.
Well, he probably secretes himself in there. You know how good he is at hiding.
You open a cupboard and there's David Turner's.
I'm going to show
with a box of cornflakes on his head.
Flooring.
I can't show you guys on Zoom the first picture, but let me just hang on a minute. Let me just show you.
Clean my glasses. I do apologise.
So let me just show the people at home what David Turner's looks like. All right, he got upset today because I said to him, "Have you ever considered having your adenoids removed?" And he said, "What are adenoids?" And I said, "Oh, it's just if you've got a funny voice, as you have." So that's David Turner's, right? And he then sent me a picture of the troublesome trucks from Thomas the Tank Engine. And let me just make myself full screen. And he looks exactly like the troublesome truck. He looks exactly like him.
Oh yeah,
exactly like him. Let me see if I can get them both up. And
I think the computer game show needs to change their thumbnail.
I went off him after that. Let me see if I can get it up on the. By the way, look,
David Turner says that's libel. First rule of libel, first defence is that it's true. Second, that it's fair comment. So, and thirdly, that it was made without malice. So, we'll see you in court, and you'll be paying costs, mate.
Let me see if I can bring these two wonderful images together. By the way, I don't think we're going to go behind the paywall tonight. I hope that's okay with you guys. I'm having fun. We will wrap it up shortly because these pills are starting to wear off. And
on a serious note, did you get a fact sheet about venlafaxine? Because if not, I can get you one.
I'm not on venlafaxine.
Sorry, not venlafaxine. Sorry. What was the thing you were on?
Elvans.
Yeah, but
you get one anyway, Gatford. Just for some reading.
Yeah, it's just that in my previous job, I used to give people leaflets for that.
Oh, what, for that drug?
Yeah, Elvance, and for the one that you said it was.
May I ask? I'm happy to talk about my side of it freely. May I ask?
Well, I worked in administration in an ADHD clinic, so I'm not a clinician. I have no clinical knowledge, but I used to speak to people with ADHD, book appointments, deal with families all the time. And obviously, I had to pick up some knowledge along the way. I used to deal with people with autism and ADHD, and they were very different. Autistics would love an email. ADHD would hate an email. And there were things like that that I built up.
Generalizations, obviously, but yes,
very general.
that
And it's because I was working in admin, and it was, you dealt in generalizations. But obviously, I used to, and that's why I said the thing about Kent earlier, because we used to do our clinics in Kent, and one of our clinicians used to joke that they should just release a cloud of medication over Kent. There were so many people with ADHD in it, and it would help.
Send me anything you've got. I can obviously I could probably Google it. I will Google it. I always Google the drugs that I take these days. But yeah, send over anything you've got. And this may not be the drug.
Is it Elvance XL if I remember rightly? Is it?
There's no XL here.
There's no XL. There are different ones, so I'll send you both.
I'm on 30 milligrams, and honestly, it's making my eyes quite blurry.
Yeah, and the sweating I seem to remember, but I'll get the leaflets over because my memory is not. I'm in a different world now, so I don't want to give you wrong information.
Have you got any actual drugs, Gary, to set for sale?
We're in the gap. We're in the Gapverse now. We are in the
only what I take, and I need them. So no, you can't have them.
It's a funny old world. I remember years ago, if you were in NA or AA, I don't know if you've ever encountered this, Alistair. I think it's much better now. But I remember it was either me or someone else said they were on antidepressants, and someone in the room went, tutted. And there used to be some real hardcore people, particularly in NA, that you cannot be on any drug. You cannot be on any mood-altering substance. Where, of course, actually in the AA Big Book, I guess in the NA, it says often we are prescribed medication, we listen to our doctor. And we are not here to give medical advice, and we listen to the advice of our doctor. But there were some people that are like, no, you can't do that. And I remember being in SAA, Sex Addicts Anonymous, which is a very strange fellowship, and there's not a lot of recovery, and it's a very new fellowship. And there was a guy in there that had quite a lot of clean time around this kind of stuff, and that was very rare. And I was really impressed. And I phoned him up and said, I would love you to be my sponsor. He said, Ian, that would be my honour. You have to stop taking your antidepressants. And I said, sorry? He said, you have to stop taking your antidepressants. It's about humility, and you cannot be humble if you're on antidepressants. Now, what I should have said was, oh, fuck off, you silly sod. You're not a doctor, you're not. And all I did was I went, okay, well, I'll think about it. And I ended the phone call. And there are people out there giving that kind of dangerous advice. My sponsor at the moment is brilliant. And he knows the medication I'm on. Actually, I need to tell him about this. And he says, it's not up to me. So listen to your doctor. You will know if you're taking stuff because you want to take stuff, and you have to trust yourself on that. And you can always talk to me about it if you're unsure. He said, but listen to your doctor. That's what it's about.
I'm always very clear when I say to people I work in mental health. That's why I always say I'm not a clinician.
Yeah.
Don't listen. I'm not. Whatever I say isn't medical advice. I can only talk from my own experience, and it probably, most likely, won't work or, is the opposite for you. And I'm very quick to say that, because otherwise people will, and I have had people come out, oh, well, you said I should get a referral to this and it was rubbish. I said, no, I suggested. It's up to you.
And that's the beauty of the 12 steps. It's all suggestions. There's no instructions. I mean, sometimes it will be, I very strongly suggest you go to a meeting, but that's it, Alistair, isn't it? There's no, and that's what makes it so beautiful, and why so many people stay is it's not you need to do this and you have to do this. It's I suggest you go to meetings. I suggest you get a sponsor. I suggest you start doing the steps. That's it.
Yeah, the loveliest thing about it is the fact that you know, I probably said it before, but it's the first time in any kind of situation you find yourself in life where you join a group of people and there's absolutely no judgment about what you've done, why you're there, what you want. You know, there's no like heavy membership form you have to go through and, you know, where you're from, why you're here and all that nonsense. All you have to say is, I've got, I want to give up alcohol or whatever it may be.
The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking or in NA to stop using. Charlie says,
talking steps, I need to go up mine and go out the loo, so I wish you a good night.
Okay, thank you very much. Please disconnect. We don't want to. Charlie says, what's a sponsor? A sponsor is someone who is further down the line than you are, preferably someone who's completed all 12 steps. Although my sponsor is suggesting once I've completed step 9, I can start putting my hand up in meetings when they say, if anybody is available to sponsor, put your hands up, please. That would be amazing. But sponsors are incredible. You go, I don't want to go on a complete 12-step thing. We'll stop in a second. But they give their time freely. I can phone my guy anytime I want. And if he's around, he'll take the phone call. If he's not, he will phone me back as soon as he can, and I can say anything. We completed, Alistair, my step 4 and 5, and I had 6 people. And I said, oh, these are kind of the leftovers. These are not really big ones. And 3 of those people, you tick boxes of how they impact on your life. And 3 of those people, I ticked every single box. And it was powerful stuff. You have your defects of character have scores as to where you and then he said, go home and look at your assets. I want you to write down your assets. And I told him I'd done it, and he sent me a text saying, that's it. You've done the hard stuff. It gets easier from now on. It's amazing. It's amazing. Anyway.
Hang on to everything, Ian, because I found recently, I may have mentioned it, that a friend of mine who was a very close friend did kind of reject me, you know, when I was drinking. And I'd done the 12 steps, but then I suddenly became very resentful about this friend again, thinking that, you know, he'd, not being very tolerant and all this. And of course, you know, it's nothing to do with him in a way. It's about me and how I process that. And I should be saying, well, look, I understand why he did that. And, you know, that's in the past, and we look forward now.
We look forward. There we go. There's I don't want to wang on about it too much, but it saved my life and it changed my life. And I got my 9-month chip yesterday, which is great.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding,
Awesome.
ding.
Well done.
All right. Alistair, Visionary, Liam and Dave, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to say goodbye to you now. I will ask you to leave because if I do it, I have to end up reporting you for racism, which is not.
All right.
Good night, all.
See you later, everyone. Thank you.
All right, see ya. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Liam. Oh, there we go. It's the duo, the dynamic duo. Katarina Boylsky.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that we're done. I'm feeling very, very tired now.
My stomach's rumbling. I didn't have any tea.
Did you not? Got anything in?
Yeah.
You know what you got? What are you going to have?
I can't have them now, though. Well, actually, it's only 20
Do
past
whatever
9.
you want to do.
I've got a Charlie Bigman's meatballs.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Sounds
You
like
know Charlie
sounds like a
Bigham?
program on Men and Motors.
No, Charlie Bigham, them posh ready meals in the bamboo
Oh yeah,
trays.
Rosie, thank you for the sub.
I've got some meatballs and there's pasta and sauce in it as well, so I might have some of that.
Dirty.
That's naughty, though, isn't it? That's naughty.
No.
Who cares? I'm the grown up in this house. Who's going to stop me? They're not going to dob me in.
I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. I think this pillar's worn off, and I am shattered.
Do you know what I might do? I might have a drive and just see what the situation is at the garage.
But what about your kids aren't there, are they?
No.
Go and do what you want. Go and have a little. Go and have.
I might go to the club.
There's a club near me in Aylesbury. What's it called?
Niche.
We've got to go there one night.
I said it as a joke, but actually it could be hilarious.
It'll be great fun. We'll just go and tell them all off for being so naughty. Naughty people. Thank you, Catherine. It's always a pleasure. I'm sorry we didn't get to see each other today.
That's all right.
What are you doing tomorrow? It's Littleton's birthday.
Party. Party 4:30 to 7:30. 7:30. I'm free as a bird.
Beautiful. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Sunday, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to read about counselling. I'm going to listen to some music because Monday I have my first ever client as a counsellor. And Charlie's going to Tenerife tomorrow. Good for you. And I feel all right about it now. I felt really nervous all week. I feel all right about it now. One of my colleagues at college, she's getting her first 2 clients on Tuesday. So we're going to have a little Zoom on Sunday night, about 8 o'clock, just to kind of check in and give each other a little pep talk and see if we have any tips for each other. But yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah. Someone is coming to see me because they need help. That's weird, man. That's weird. But I think it'll be all right.
Yeah, I think you're going to be brilliant.
I think it'll be. I don't know, brilliant, but I think it will be. I'm reading a really good book about kind of starting, and this guy said when I started, I thought I was going to be brilliant and amazing, and I was going to solve everyone's problems, and it took me ages to realise not everyone's going to like me. That it's not about solving everyone's problems, and that it's not always going to work out, and that's okay. That's okay. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. There will be streams next week. I don't quite know the schedule I'll have a little look. I think Tuesday night we will watch Coherence. So if you've got Amazon Prime, you can join me on Twitch. We'll watch Coherence. It's a great film. I wanted to watch a crap film, but actually it's a really, really good film. So we'll watch that. And I might do a couple of late night kind of streams. I might do a little radio show without any pictures. Catherine, you're welcome to join on any of those.
Well, evenings are not a problem. It's just the mornings that have been kiboshed by the hand of justice.
Okay. Well, I'm sure. Well, I will be around. It would be great to have you around for any that you can do. That would be delightful. And I might stream some N64 because I got my cables that I need. Despite the fact Nintendo have said they're going to release a load of N64 games on the Switch. So all the money I've spent, didn't need to spend really, but there you go. Thank you, everybody. How are you feeling about the jury, Catherine?
Bit concerned about it because I've got to go. I have to go. Yeah, I've had a conversation with one of my neighbours who said that a lad he worked with was on jury service, and the thing I was worried about that might happen happened to him, which was if you've got to use public transport, which I'm going to do, people intimidating jurors. But apparently, when that happened, the lad told the judge or the person who was sort of the jury wrangler, and they arranged for him to be picked up and dropped off by a cab.
Say it's happening then. I'll push you over in a balaclava or something. And then you get chauffeur driven.
But yeah, let's see. It's not necessarily the entrance and the exits I'm worried about, Gafford. It's the walking to and from the trains in the morning.
Yeah, so good luck with your half marathon. That's a real challenge. Good luck for that. When I was a kid, I remember saying to my mum about newsreaders. I said, are they not, because they talk about murders and crimes and stuff. I'd say, are they not scared of like getting murdered? If they're going on and saying there was a murder today in South London, a young woman was found, or they'd announced that someone had been arrested or sent to prison. I said, are they not scared that they might get killed for that? And my mum went, don't be so silly. And I was thinking, actually, Jill Dando, of course, was that kind of thing. That was huge and so peculiar.
Yeah, and I worked at Crime Watch on the reconstruction. It was a year after her murder. So I was lucky to be with her friends, the people that worked with her who loved her. And also, we went to to Scotland Yard and stuff, and we went down to the shooting gallery and we looked at the bullets.
Did you see their Black Museum?
No, I didn't see the Black Museum, but it's
a real thing.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. But it was fascinating. But I do remember when they arrested Barry George Bulsara, thinking that's not the story we were telling. We were telling the story of, we were telling the story of, we were telling the story of potentially a hit squad at one point. We were telling the story of a man in a Mac, someone who seemed to have been doing a professional job.
Serbian hitman was one of the.
Well, stories. Yeah, because there had been an airstrike, I believe, on the national television centre in Serbia, and there was talk of a kind of revenge attack. You took out our Jill Dando, we'll take out yours. That.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's actually a really good documentary that they put out recently, I think by the BBC. Fascinating, and it went over all that, and I didn't imagine it. We were telling a different story. Yeah.
I don't buy any of that paedophile stuff. That story. I mean, you know the story about that. I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know the story that apparently one of a famous friend was a paedophile and she was getting too close to this. I don't buy that.
But what I can tell you was that woman was loved. People that worked with her absolutely adored her, and Nick Ross was obviously still very upset and frightened by it when I was working with them, and people were. It was terrifying.
Such a big story. And who was that who's asked for that? Hang on a second. Tweety Bird. Yeah, you're right. The one thing I remember, and I've never been able to find the press cuttings of it, it was the biggest story for 6 months, and every little sniff that they could get. And one of the people I remember was they found a guy hiding in a skip at the end of the road the day of the murder, tall, thin guy, and they took him in for questioning, as you would. And he was a fantasist who said his name was like Lord Jones or something, and he'd also been found at the scene of at least one other murder. But it was purely coincidence. I can't really remember it, but he was found hiding in a skip. It was such a big story and such a strange story. That the two murders of young women that really hit me, and I think Jill Dando, what year would that have been? 99?
Yeah, I think 98. 90. I know I qualified in 2000. Yeah, it might have been 99, 98.
I think I was at the 11 o'clock show with that. And the other one was when
because it was after Diana. There was Diana and then Jill Dando.
That was it. The other one was Susie Lamplugh. And I remember that because I was a kid. But I mean, I'm going to say that was 83. I don't quite know. And I mean, that was remarkable. Mr. Kipper was the thing, and I think they think they know who did it. I'm sure that there is that there was someone in prison for murder who kind of said, "Yeah, I did that." I'm sure they know who did it. I think he's dead now, but they never had the evidence to prosecute or anything. But gosh, those two were huge stories.
But also the cross-referencing was still not up to par. I know that they'd introduced Holmes after the system Holmes, they call it, after the Yorkshire Ripper, because they were working on cards at one point. Yeah,
there were Rolodex in different buildings and no communication.
So now, but that still wasn't perfect when they were investigating Jill Dando's murder. So I think that Barry George had come up a few different times.
He was just an oddball,
and there were loads of them. I remember speaking to the police at the time, and they said, we also have to look at the possibility that it was a stalker. But there were loads of candidates. He said if we put a circle around that area of Fulham, there were loads of them within that place that were,
that poor bloke.
Pictures of her and all sorts. They're frightening enough, and who had made contact. But the other thing was, what was I about to say then? I can't remember. There was something else.
There was another murder, Rachel Nickel, And I think part of the reason, Jill Dando to one side, that her and Susie Lamplow got such attention is because they were very attractive white women. I do think there is an element of that about the stories that take. And there was a guy that got sent to prison for that, and he was entrapped, wasn't he, by a female police officer because he liked, I think, quite violent,
Knife
kinky
fantasies.
sex. Right. Okay.
And she met with him, and sort of the suggestion is, or the reason why it got overturned was that she had goaded him into saying that he liked it.
Yeah, she'd encouraged him, or more than encouraged him. It's almost as if she'd said first, do you like violent knife sex? Yes, I do. Okay, we're gonna,
yeah.
But then it is interesting that, God, we're going off on some tangents. Listen to this. After you know exactly why it is.
Big buckle of drugs with no top on.
This is what I was like in the 90s and early 2000s, is talking about this. I'll be really interested to know how it goes. As someone who's never done jury service, and I think I don't know. Oh, someone's entering the waiting room that we don't know. I'm just going to change the shot. Let's see what we got. Let's see who we got. Indonesia. Hello, Indonesia. If we get a load of racist abuse, I'm going to stop the stream, so this may be goodbye. Indonesia, unmute, please. Indonesia, unmute, please. Indonesia, unmute, please. Wow, this is exciting. Hello, Indonesia. This is really tense, Beastie Boy. You're absolutely right. It's either a really shy person or we're going to see a peen. Either way, quid's in.
Might be a shy peen.
Could be a We've all had that. We've all had that. Indonesia. Okay. I'm going to remove you. I'm going to report you to Zoom. There we go. They're gone. On that bombshell. Yeah, good luck with it. I can understand your fears, and I think it's right to be cautious. I'm hoping you just get like a shoplifter or something. And you'll do the right.
That goes to Crown Court necessarily.
Oh, okay. I'm hoping Indonesia is Outdonesia. Thank you. Stands.
I remembered what I was going to say to you about the final thought on the Jill Dando thing.
Yes, go on.
I didn't know this at the time, and maybe because they were still sitting on things during the reconstruction, because what they didn't want is for people to accumulate all the information, and so when someone rang up with extra information, you could tell if someone knew something.
This was when you were on Crime Watch.
Yeah. She wasn't living at that place in Fulham. It was unusual for her to be there. So that was the thing. An opportunist with a gun.
There was a suggestion they got the wrong person as well. I remember that theory. I mean, every theory you can think of was floating around, but that was one that was pursued for a while.
Yeah. But it was that thing of, because I assumed, as everyone did, that was her flat. She wasn't living there at the time. She was going back to visit there, very sporadically. So it just felt more organised than some loner. And also a random attack that no one heard or saw. Nah.
Maybe we can solve it.
They'd crimped the bullet as well. They'd kind of modified it. So,
and that was where the theory that it was a hitman.
Yeah.
Hitman. I mean, it's such a romantic term for someone who's paid to murder people, but that it was a professional.
Yeah.
Because the bullet had been tampered with.
Yeah. They thought it might have been a decommissioned gun that had been redone. And so that's
then you can, I can fall slightly down the conspiracy theory that it's so odd that nothing was seen, nothing was heard, no one knows anything. I mean, I know there has been talk recently of a van, a particular van, I think.
There was a Range Rover that we mentioned in the reconstruction.
Maybe it was that. I thought there was something new had come up, but maybe that was something different. But, you can see why people fall down the conspiracy theory of, well, the police know who did it. They just it's connected to the government or it's connected to the BBC, so we'll never know. And I don't know. It's that was huge and that was strange. And I remember I was working in TV, and I wasn't that bothered, but there was. Maybe we were spoken to from Channel 4 about security and stuff, actually. I do remember that the 11 o'clock show kind of started before the internet was really a thing. And I remember that there was like a sort of GeoCities forum where I was getting slagged off all the time. But we would get mail. And the mail was always, well, I didn't know this. We'd get fan mail. And it was always lovely. It was always lovely. And I didn't realise that they were going through our fan mail to make sure it was always lovely. And me and Daisy saw a pile of letters to us on a table once. Went, oh, we'll have a look at this. This is obviously the stuff that they withhold from us. And we opened one letter, and I think it may have been written in green ink, but it started off saying, I think your show is great and you're both really good. What I'd love to do is I'd love to kidnap you, inject you with AIDS, take you to an island and fuck you both and shoot you. Whoa! We never opened any more mail after that.
Why would he do that after he'd injected you with AIDS?
that hadn't been filtered through. I miss letters. I miss letters from lunatics. Emails and tweets, I don't think. There was something special about someone being so incensed or so upset or so aroused that they would go and find a piece of paper, they would find a pen, they would write, they would put it in an envelope, they'd get a stamp, they'd find the address.
Yeah.
You know, that's an involved operation.
Yeah. Because with an email, you can fire one off in a second and then immediately regret it, right? And not be able to retract it. But yeah, there's an extra amount of calculation that is involved with a letter that means that they really meant that.
Yeah, yeah. I do think there's a special dedication.
Do you remember those ones we used to get our drawings on?
Oh, like on purple paper?
Yeah.
From a woman who hated you.
Yeah.
You had ruined me.
Yeah.
Chance to be a fine thing. No, but you would ruin my career, and you would, and it was.
And I was trying to usurp you.
That was it. Yeah, and it was all. It was about 6-7 sheets of kind of tiny writing and big writing and illustrations, and it made no. I wish I'd kept some of those, and it was that was very weird. I remember on LBC we had a funny, slightly bonkers caller. This was when I was a little bit less kind to people who were perhaps operating on a slightly different level to everyone else, and there was a crazy old woman, and she would phone up and she would smoke, and it was quite funny. And then she phoned up one day to say that she was sat in front of the mirror naked and she was masturbating, and she said, "But you know that." I said, I don't know that. She said, "Yeah, of course you do, because you told me to." I said, I don't think it's just, yeah. You know this, right? That you're talking to me, right? And I said, well, yeah, I'm talking to you in the way I'm talking to. She says, okay, well, tell me this is wrong, right? Every time I have a cigarette, you start talking about cigarettes. Tell me that you're not talking to me then. I went, I'm really sorry, I'm not. We never let her on again. That's too much.
But that's quite, well, I was not going to say common, but
well, you know,
I've heard that.
Another one. Yeah.
I've heard that before. And I had one when I was at Three Counties who used to, was sure that I was talking to him. And he started hanging around the station. Didn't know what I looked like though.
Oh, and you didn't you walk past him once and he didn't know it was you? That got quite nasty, didn't it?
I'm not sure whether I ever walked past him, but I know he used to, he obviously, wasn't the clearest of thinkers, because he would turn up way after my shift and stuff, but it was always a concern. And, I've told you before, and this will be no news to women in the chat and a lot of men, I guess, who work funny hours, is that you always kind of plan your escape route. So when I would drive past, I would drive in a way that meant that I could see into the car park before I drove in there. And I'd always want to be able to see the door and stuff. And when you know that someone is actually looking for you, it always is something that runs across your mind at 4 o'clock in the morning when you're turning up to work and you're going into an empty building. It really was frightening. And the boss at the time got the police in, and they reassured me a lot. But, when it comes down to it, you are on your own.
When I joined Three Counties, you were still in the building at LBC in Luton.
Yeah.
And it was great because the car park was right next door. You could park up. I think there may have even been motion lights. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And it was a very quick walk round to the door, and you get buzzed in, I think. I can't quite remember. And you were in. And that was it. It was a very
short. And you could see around.
Still wasn't great, but it was actually, for a job we have to get in at 4 o'clock, it was probably as good as it could get. And then we moved to Dunstable.
Yeah.
And there was a passageway that we kind of comically dubbed Rape Alley.
Oh, I meant it.
And it was, you had to park in a car park, and you had to cross a road. It's a car park sort of behind everything, so it was kind of private. Then you had to cross a road, and then we had to walk down, what, I don't know, 50 foot? I don't quite remember.
Yeah, but it's one of those situations that once you were in, you were not safe until you were out again, you know. And if someone were to corner you in there,
you had to wait for a big gate to swing open that took like 20 seconds before you could get through it. And I know it's slightly different for women, but I was fucking scared of it as well.
No, well, I was always thrilled, you know, when I spoke to you about it, because I said, we had a female boss at the time.
Didn't care.
And, well, she just said, well, you can go around the back. And I went, yeah, but that, again, we're going into a locked compound. Yeah. You're assuming that there's no one's going to follow me in there. I'm not safe until I get through the door into work. But we just started turning up at the same time, didn't we? Walking each other in.
Yeah. It was, and they didn't care. And you do think, you know, on like country roads and stuff, where you see the red triangular sign, which is like slow, which is not an order, it's a suggestion or a bend, right? They only get put there when 2 people die. This is those things aren't there because it's bendy. It takes 2 fatal accidents for those things to get put there. And I do think that the same thing would have happened there. It would have taken a physical assault for something to have been done about it. You know, Dunstable. Yeah. It's not, you know, not quite as rough as Luton, but it ain't the nicest place in the world. And people hate the BBC. You know, people really are very angry, more so now, actually, God, with the BBC.
Well, yeah, and it's a different proposition. You know, when you're talking to someone who comes in at 10:30, 11 o'clock or 9 o'clock, even 9 o'clock, right, when the world is awake, it's a different, you're talking about a different picture. And I think unless you've done that walk at 5 in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning, you don't really understand just how flipping terrifying it is, and how that car park was, as you say, was enclosed. So it wasn't like the other one where I would have to drive past the front door, see into the car park, go around into the car park, and I knew that it was pretty clear. You know, I knew that there were people down the street. I knew that one in Dunstable, you really were just you take your keys, Wolverine them, and just leg it.
And that's, you know, we're saying that and we're smiling and that sounds funny, but it's fucking horrible. No one should have to be in fear of being attacked on their way to work. You know, that shouldn't. But and you know, there was no consideration given to that dangerous element. It's just like run, just run, and you'll be done quickly.
I felt like I was moaning about it. You know.
Yeah. It's outrageous.
There was also talk when we first moved there, oh, there'll be security there watching the cameras all the time. No, they bloody won't.
There was a milkman. They were often, because I think there was a dairy there or something, wasn't there? They were often loading up milk floats or something was going on. But it was horrible. It was horrible, that place.
I don't miss that.
I enjoyed certain elements of the show. I remember getting very upset doing closed schools because of the snow. And I remember just thinking, fucking hell, I used to work with Ali G, and I'm doing schools that are closed because of the snow. I'm doing that. And I did, but we made it work. We made it work when I finally bullied you into becoming my producer. The best thing was the Saturday afternoon. It was Saturday.
The rabbit hole, yeah.
The rabbit hole. And we only did 6 of those before I mistakenly stood up for gay people and got the sack. We only did 6 of those, and that, I would suggest, is the freest I have ever been on the radio, where we would take in a bag of... I had it as part of my renewal contract that we got to do this show. We didn't get paid very much for it. I don't think you even got paid for it. You probably didn't. I didn't get much for it. But we could go in, and for 2 hours, we could do whatever we want. We took in a bag of records. I had my iPod, and we would just play whatever, and Catherine would play a song, and I go, oh, well, that guitar bit reminds me of this, and boom, boom, boom. And it was the freest thing I've ever. Gatford
and the callers were encouraged to ring up and interrupt. Do you remember?
Yeah, and that was it. We just opened the lines, and if they could hear us, they were on the radio. That was it. Gatford says your best 3CR interview was a fake university.
Havard.
What was her name? Because
she was called Beloved Powerful.
Tina,
Beloved Powerful.
Pete, I think, sent me. Someone sent me. I think it was Pete. She's back in the news. She is back in the news. And of course I cannot find it, but she's doing the same thing, I think, in Nigeria. And what it was, she'd set up a school in Milton Keynes called Harvard University or College or something.
Business school.
Harvard Business School, right? And was she suing Harvard or Harvard suing her?
No, I think Harvard had told her to cease and desist, but she did a counterclaim, I think.
Yeah. So Harvard sued her. I said, well, you can't call yourself Harvard. It's too close to us. And she sued them.
She made out that it was her dad's name or something, didn't she?
She won. Do you remember? She won. Yeah. She got a payout. It was like 750 quid. But she beat Harvard. And she would come in. I fucking love those interviews. Maybe we'll find one next week and play it. And she would come in, I think with her son. And
Wasn't it her husband?
I thought it was her son, but you could be right. And we'd go, how can you do this? And she wouldn't buckle.
She doubled down. She tripled down.
Doubled down. And we all respected her so much. It was so funny. And it was just amazing. Maybe Matty will have those somewhere. Matty has all of those.
Do you remember when Justin went to see her and she was having some kind of big meeting and she wouldn't speak to him until he'd eaten some chicken? She kind of bullied him into partaking in the buffet.
Yeah. My favourite interview was, the favourite one I can remember, is Poppy Day. And,
oh God!
There's always that thing of should we get pop? Should we be forced into buying poppies? And we had this really old. I'm going to call him a colonel. This really old guy with the big, thick, twirly moustache, very, very old man, and he came in to advocate buying poppies. Why we should. Of course, poppies are a great thing, and they're a great thing because.
So we were on his side.
Yeah, but what I found out was. On the way downstairs to the studio, he bullied one of the people that worked at the station into buying a poppy and I think giving a £5. And I dared to put forward the premise of the white poppy, and also that some people, some people don't want to buy a poppy.
Or some people don't want to. They make a donation but don't want to wear one.
Yeah, and he was furious, and I think that possibly holds the record for the longest silence in an interview, because he stared at me and I stared at him and I was thinking, this is one of the greatest moments of my life. I wonder if that's on YouTube.
I also loved the guy who wouldn't send his kid to school because he thought that she would get Ebola.
Oh, he was the prepper. Turns out he was right about the prepping, though, not the Ebola, but he was right about the prepping. I bet he sailed through lockdown.
And also I enjoyed the sparky conversation with the mum who was leading a revolt against the school because they'd all sent their kids into school not wearing the uniform as suggested, and the girls' skirts were all too short. And if I remember rightly, about 30 girls from the entire year got sent home, and the mums were furious. And you said, but they told you how long the skirts had to be, right? And they told you where to get them from. And they're like, yeah. And you said, well, then them's the rules. And we got the head teacher on, and you agreed with her, and they did not expect that. I think they brought us the story thinking that it would be, David versus Goliath. And actually, we kind of went, well, you were told.
Them's the rules. Tina, what was her name?
Beloveth, powerful.
I can't find the poppy guy.
Tell you the story I wish we'd done, though. Still up there. It's the Jonathan Vernon Smith dating call.
Oh, I wonder if that's on here. JVS dating website. Let's have a little. That was
beautiful. Beautiful.
Because I played a clip of JVS on Absolute before I came there, because there was a thing about the Queen or something. There was a mad caller about the Queen, and one of his clips went viral. JVS confronts the men illegally using the BBC Three Counties car park. Oh, that was funny. JVS discovers swinging. Oh, hang on. What's this? This might be something. Oh, hang on. This is JVS loses it live on air. Hang on a second.
Oh, he's always losing it live on air.
Says, Wednesday night, my son came to me and said he thinks he's got a bunion.
It's not where JVS 3 counties sex. Let's put in sex.
Oh God, it was so good. Oh, and the other one was the dolphin.
Oh God, what was the
The dolphin. There was a woman who'd been on holiday, and she wanted him. He had a consumer program, and she wanted him to help her pursue this holiday company for damages because she'd gone on holiday to Cuba and taken part in the dolphin show. And they'd encouraged her to get into the pool with this dolphin, and the dolphin humped her so hard against the side of the pool, he broke her pelvis.
Oh, broke her pelvis. Christ, yeah, she did.
And she said they should have known how horny that dolphin was. That's the thing, right? Everyone thinks that, I know, everyone thinks that dolphins are, it's all glorious and Flipper will save you every time. He might save you, but he might hump you to within an inch of your life. Also, they're not very nice. They're quite violent.
I can't find do the story about the dating website because I can't find
Jonathan, I'm very disappointed. I joined a dating website and it didn't turn out the way I wanted to. And
we were sat in the office listening to this going,
it was unbelievable.
Did you just hear what I think we heard?
Yeah. So Jonathan, I joined this dating site, online dating. I know, don't laugh about it, but sometimes you get lonely, you got to find your recourse online. This is like before normal people were known to online date. Anyway, so already they're thinking it's going to be great. But actually what happened was I joined this dating. It wasn't a dating agency after all. I think actually it was a method of young ladies selling their favours. Oh, really? Yeah, and I had no idea when I joined up and I was very upset about it. And, okay, so can you tell us what the name of this site that you joined up, not knowing that it was possibly a front for the sex trade? And he went, yeah, it's called www.localsluts.com.
Oh man, I can't.
He had no idea. He thought that's where he's going to meet Mrs. Right.
I can't find any of the clips. We've gone on for ages. We should stop. Let's stop. I'm so tired. These pills are worn off. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I've had fun. What's your name again? Catherine. I've had fun chatting with you. I like this. You not being here.
Well, next week this could be the way forward.
Well, it's that thing of what we talked about before when we do the radio show, when we're facing each other. This is more like having a conversation as opposed to the performance of us both facing this. Okay, we need to bear that in mind and make that work in our favour because it is a completely different way. Thank you, everybody. Who do we have? Liam, Visionary Soup, Gatford, Alistair, Dave, Indonesia. Thank you, everyone who joined us. And thanks for understanding we didn't go behind the paywall. Sorry. But next week, you're going to get some paywall exclusives.
Cats are in the bin.
Tomorrow, you're going to get an exclusive podcast of me in Tesco and reading to my mum. So that'll be good. And thank you, everyone, for watching. We've had pretty good numbers for the whole thing. Catherine, I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I'm going to go and do a raid. Tutty buys.
Bye. Good night, everyone.
Tutty bye. Lots of love. Happy birthday to Little Un tomorrow. She's got a present.
Yay!
See you later on. Ta-ra.
Bye. Right.
So let's go and do a raid. Someone said Vix is on. That was fun. We should. I'm always think we have to max show. We have to do a show, and actually, just chatting is. Yasser sent me a friend request. I don't know where friend requests are. I don't really know how friend requests work. I tell you what I'm going to do. Vix is on. I will raid Vix next week. Vix, I'm going to raid you next week. I'm going to go and raid the computer game show, guys, if that's okay. Vix, I love you, and I will raid you next week, and maybe we can play some games next week. Maybe if we will do some of that. That might be quite good fun. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that show. Thank you. The Computer Game Show Co. This channel is intended for mature viewers. Let's go and make their night. This is James. He's my favourite. Like him a lot. Oh, you can't see him. There we go. Vix, you're getting raided next week. Trust me, baby. Trust me. Thank you, everyone. Maybe do streams over the weekend.
It's alright, it's fine. It's fine.